Recording in progress.
Salamat Kamay Lakum. Welcome, everyone. My name is Danny Dallas. Thank you for being here with us. Before we get started, we are going to have a moment of silence for 1 minute of silence for each of our lost people that died, victims of genocide. We're going to have a 1 minute of silence, and we'll start now. Okay, Rafti, thank you. They will forever be in our hearts. Thank you. So to introduce the program, I'm going to pass it to Eden Gabriselase. Please take over, Eden Gabriselase.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, everyone. Salam kurat tamalkatna luma anti ay salsay amet Tigray genocide commemorate ngabrina matsna zalana kawdma nay panel discussion allo SJT staff and our community tazakajawa qadmina u mitawna gan Dr. Taka, our founder, would like to give a briefing in regards to the third year genocide. And so, Dr. Taka.
Thank you, Eden. Salam lukhulukhum. B'majammariya abzi nay salsay amet BSJT coordinate legbar law nay Tigray genocide Zoom panel discussion b'saatkum silal matsaakum b'tism jigna diaspora kamsgnakum idalli. Salsay amet nay Tigray diaspora nay Tigray genocide intizkar Tigray hizb Tigray manaisay Tigray diaspora mzikar giddin yibl hilqat hizb Tigray manaisay Tigray diaspora abzi እንሪኦ ተለና እዚ ኩሉ በጽሕና ዘሎ ህልቂታት ህዝብና ህዝብ ትግራይ ምፍንቃል ደቂ ትግራይ ወራር መረት ትግራይ ተደፈረ ሕዋትና ደቂ ትግራይ እዚ ኩሉ ኣብ ልዕሊ ህዝብ ትግራይ እንትፍጸም ወዲያውኑ TDF መድሕን ህዝብ ትግራይ ብሓጽር ግዜ ተመስሪቱ መናእሰይ ትግራይ ብሓጽር ግዜ ኣብ TDF ተሰሊፎም ትግራይ ዲያስፖራ بحصر جزء بزحل ولا محبرات بممسرات مس هزبو تسلفو حادنتنا قبل كعل العلي انكراني خالص تግራይ دايسبورا بعالم درجة شاف كشاف بادفوكاسي دبلوماسي بيتيشن جلوبال ناشونال بروتست بلقبع حلفنت بموساد تأمر سرح لقصر لصبصب صريحي كنا اري قبعو Tigray diaspora بدقة TDF بعدي إيدي قانتي خوينهم لحزب تجراي وحسيت أبقاي خوينهم يوم إذا جينا حزب تجراي صلى برتعول تقالسة بألاف لغت صاروا نايت سألتي سراوت بممكات سألأي كيف فتوى نام ناي بريتوريا ناي دردر ومبر أمتي وإي حزب تجراي ناي بريتوريا دردر يتوعد الحزبنا كله بتنكاك بممرمار ولا بقى بتكل كنمرص اللي قبلنا أنت لي خوينو بتجزئ لنا ورنا مارج خوينو كلنا تجارب قبلنا يئنا ما جن إيزي ناي بريتوريا وعلي سومن ثالث أنه ورعي تنصنح سومنا تلصنح لكلنا تغارو قمت كهبي دلي ولا همتن دولي ولا قوا تليخونا اتي سب لبلع طورنة تطويل إيه بمتأنو أسرات ون يفتح اللوي بحال جن بنيوس رلس لليخونا I'm not sure أرجع لك الزاربة يخلي دحر سلست عامت تمهارو تجراي لاب تمرت بيتي من لس اللو باجت ولا قوا ملو بملو تليخونا نشتي يجن الله إذا مالت جن يخوني تناي تجراي هزبت إياكي جن شلت أبيلها أبزل حالة عامت أنا بريتوريا وعل منم لتجنا نجار كبحال جن أي كالي أتلس إتي هزبنا لبلع أورنت جن تطويل الله أبز جن بقولن هزب تجراي خوينا مس هزب تجراي خوينا كدمت أول دلي أرجس أول ما الاختكت حلال فول دلي هزبنا أبز خز جزيزي بتعمي قبل حزن له تقطع حب جزينا كنا مالت مرتنا يتملسي سألتنا كاب تجراي وصوي لتجار حواتنا الدفرو لفردي مصوي تفنق الهزبنا لمربته ما يتملسوي إزي كاب دايسبورا جميرو كاب عدي كاب منجستي كلنا نزارة وزارة وعيو إزي كن حامي غير يو كاب دقم تلحالفة خالسنا كاب دقم غهامينا كنغتصل أفتي بانال ديسكشن ديتيلز للوقعو أنا قل مثلا نكبل يبزي بحامي من قدئنا أنا خطا غيره أنا خطا سريحة هم غيرنا خكن سرح إلنا اللي ما تصلوا أتينا يدلنا روك بمنتاي كنوصل نخل نشتي لبلولن أدمو كله لعلو كله قنعنا لله حدنا تكلونا له أبدا أسفر لله محبرات سخني لن إهن مهن كبهال الله إتي دايسبورا بناي مانا تشوم تشنجر ديغناح ناي وعلو لدرشب كهلو الله جزاوي منجست تجراي بارتي منجستي فلاليو كمرح لغل عقم كتر الله جزاوي منجست تجراي انكلوسيف لغونا تم بمسرات كل سلا تجراي سايك هلو بمقبار لترقاقع ناي حبير خمسرح هواهو كفتر الله اتوم كلهم ناي تجراي بوليتيكانياتات بتين جزاوي منجست متحدار حقي دنبي تخاتلهم كسرحو الله همزدي لجن لولا نجار لني إذا باشحات دكول تودعوا ولا تجراي إتهم بنا إشتم لتسوقوا دكنا دك تجراي أحواتنا دك تجراي إتهم بنا إشتم تجراي يوم ما ليس أجوا أما ترشت عينهم لسانو دك تجراي إتهم قويهم ليس أجوا جندم ما أجرهم لسانو دك تجراي إتهم من تمن النتهم من تكبرهم من تتجراي لهم نبرتهم سفرهم زحزحهم لوصو تمزان أبلتي سدتنياتات دك عدنا دك تجراي لزياتهم ما ناتشوم سب أب تجراي يخون أب دقة لزيهم كله ليمت انسرح تقلل بالولا لهزب تجراي ليمت انسرح ولا TDF يخون ولا جزاوي متحدار منجستي يخون ولا كلنا تجراي بوليتيكانياتات يخونا ولا خلات حبشة كاب تجراي وصاي يخون لهزب تجراي ليمتن سرح كسرح نحنا تجارب بفتس ممكن فقد يبنا من تمغلو اذا انتوا تحلف لبها الزراربه كبق علو كنده غزي اتحلف لوم زبن اذا انتوا زيا تدحز له اذا انتوا زيا كاب لعلس تكون كاب تحتي تدحزا لفتي وحلل خونه حزبنا فت قرب الله اتو ولادو ده حزب تجراي تكبر يغبو بهمزه عينت اندحل ترادادينا بهمزه عينت اندحل تقراريبنا اتا ابروغروغ اتياتا دلا تجراي اتا ጭንቅ دلا تجراي اتا ጸልማት دلا تجراي دق تجراي تحابيرنا ترادادينا لينا حدفلو كابز شغر لينا وصولو منገድ يلي اتي ديتيل لخونه بانال ديسكشن لتيوم حواتي كحدقلومو انا قنچف بلك حلفال دل ملختي ازيايا ግን حدا حاونالو فالطلنا لتبهاله لو كفالطيه حدا حاونا جغنا لخونه ود تግራይ صبوق مرأي لخونه ود عدنا دكتور زرقو قبر لبانوس بعل هفتي أبزل حالة سلسة عمت ناي هلكت حزبنا لحزبنا وجن خوينو لصرحهم من اشتيات حد نقر تتقصخو لخفاء مثلني أبشو عتا بزغز جزيز زكوا أبشو عتا ناي تجراي كتماتات أب ناي تجراي شو عتا كتماتات شو عتا تمرتبت بسلسة 250 مليون برهيبو كسرح قال دعاتي حونا أبزل عالف سلسة عمت بلاي مقراص لتم لتزانابلو دك عدنا بممقاب كوا حليفو اتوم أكالسون كلان لخونو دك عدنا منورهم خيدو رئيو ليتعمم وهانو مسرعي منورهم لخون لحوارو كسرح لهم قال دعاتي ود عدنا كذي كاتا كاب تجراي لدايسبورا لحلفو ملق تسلل اللو دكتور زرقو ود عدنا حونا جيجنا حبونا إذا مدرخ لأخاي بكالله دكتور زرقو يغنيلنا التقور اللي خاب لحزبنا كلنا نفلتنا بتعمنا مسجن تقراي تسعر ثانك يو ودينا أخو
الشيء أنا اللي بقاعدكم كما بعلاتكم مثلني مقعدة حن مساهم مسخاتكم مرة خاوي دمو بتاعني حقوسية أنا اللي كبلي فتو كاونا دياسبورا تقراي بتهو عزينا ونفتوكم عزينا منهور عليكم عزينا دمو نحبنا لكم تخكل كاب دياسبورا نتحلفكم كم أمباسادراتن هلونا ناي حزب تقراين لتا حدكم ناي بزح وطات ناي بزح انو ناي بزح حبو هيوت لدحانكم سلازغنكم بطعم عزية خمسقناكم يفتو كاو بمقصال اب تقراي كامتو دكتور تكازولو اب شقر الله تقراي اقات امخينو اب كرايسس وشتقلا جن ኣብዚ 3 ዓመት እዚ ለርአናዮ ኣብ ውሽጢ ይኹን ከምቲ ዶክተር ተካ ናይ TDF ይኹን ናይቲ መሪሕነት ኣብ ውዳበ ናይ መኸተ ልዑል ጠንካራ ኣርእዩና ሓቦ ኣርእዮም ናይ መራሕትና እውን ኣብቲ ዝርአናሉ ሰዓት ዲያስፖራና እውን ከም ዝተወደበ ወዳበ ብዘይብሉ ባዕሉ ወኒ ትግራዋይነት ሒዙ ተወዲቡ ዘርአየና ጥንካረ ብጣዕሚ ኣዝየ ከመስግን ይፈቱ ግን ኣብዚ ሰዓት ኣጋጣሚ ኮይኑ እቲ ናይ ውዕሊ ፕሪቶርያ ምስተፈረመ ግን نشتيك حلف زخيل أنا ناي يكون مطرحي خوقع زخيل هذي أفتناي ساقم مطرحي زعرب زدلي ناي مزح حالا ناي شقرني هزبنا قنا لام ربوتي تمالسان أما عسكر متقالي عيزلو قن منقستون نشتي وسيدو أفتناي هزبي بزح يسرح نزلو تدياسبراون أقاطامي مسارة المعاصلة التلاقة أو منقست سلازل زبلون اشتناي مأزح حل توريني حزبنا جن عاوزها الساعات كراتيكال أبشقرني بتعمل صدق موزل لحزب تجراي عاوزها الساعات لمنتاي وي بمنقست دقا في رخبن وي بنايو أنا دقا في رخبن وي بتناي دياسبورا زنبرة حوابير هزو دقو بيتسو لحق زنبرة ون نشتي سلالتزح حالة أبشقر له مسؤو ناي أكاد بدأت لنا سدرا سوءات لنا ياو عقم دكاما ولدن نوتاتن نيوانا سلازي اخولنا حكمنا اخولنا مقبي اخولنا سارراي اخولنا مناوري لنا سلازي اتو عبز حالفة 3 عام زترأي ناي مخاتت انكاري ناي تقارو عب حزب سلام عب لمعاتون كمي قرنات انكرنا لك اقامتناي مخاته عفت شكر قزي زنبرنا له ناي حزب تقراي لو جبرنا له استواصو حجب سلام قبل معاتن كخم يقرنا نحجز الزبل بطعم وسان ساعتنا ذركب حجي كاب دياسبورا نحنا ندليو عب تجراي زلو وشتي مريحنتون حادنتو تناخيرو قدميا حزب تجراين لخرئي ملختكم لختم محالفون دلي قدميا كاب ناتي اننت وصينا كاب نسخان زبل أقول تعبيت وصينا كاب أننت زبل ملخختا وصينا تجراين حزب تجراين أما ملخختا غيرهم نخمر حنا مدق تحلف لهم فتو كاو بمقصال لنقاداي تجراواي ون أب نقدي زلو تجراواي ህዝቢ ትግራይ እንተጠፊኡ ህዝቢ ትግራይ እንተተፀጊሙ ኣብ ሽግሩ ለይበፅሕ ነጋዳይ ወይ ኣጋጣሚ ኮይኑ እውን በዓል ሃፍቲ ይበሃል ኣነ እኳ ብዙሕ በዓል ሃፍቲ ኣሎ ኢለ ይኣምንን በዓል ሃፍቲ ዝህሊ ሰኣን ሓንቲ ዳቦ ወይ ሰኣን ሓንቲ ዳቦ ትመውትነን ሰኣን ሓንቲ ዳቦ ዝመውቶ ኣቦ እናሃለየ በዓል ሃፍቲ ምባል ብዙሕ ክብል ክደፍረ የርእየንን ግን ዘለዎ ዓቕሙ ተሓባቢሩ ግን ኣብ ሽግር ግዜ ኣብ ዝህሰዓት ወቅቲ ንህዝቢ ትግራይ ዘይበፅሕ ነጋዳይ ወይ በዓል ሃፍቲ እንተልዩ እዚ እውን ተሓባቢሩ ናብ ህዝቡ ወሪዱ ዓቕሚ ዘለዎ ብዓቕምካ ብትዘላቶ ተሓባቢሩ ንህዝቡ ክብል እውን መልእክቲ ክተሕልፉ ይደሊ ካብኡ ብምቕፃል ናይ ዲያስፖራ እውን ከምቲ ዝነበረ ናይ ሕሉፍ ግዜ ኣምባሳደራት ኮይንኩም ዝሰራሕኩምዎ ኣብ ናይ ህዝቢ ምድሓን ዝሰራሕኩምዎ ዝሓለፈ ግዜ እንቅስቃሴ ሕዚ እውን ከም ብሓድሽ ተወዲብኩም ኣነን ዘይብሉ ፖለቲካ ናይ ባዕሎም ጉዳይ ግን ንሕና ከንታ ክንሰርሕ ኣለና ህዝብና ከመይ ጌርና ነድሕን ዝብል ወሲድኩም ተደጋጊፍኩም ጥንካሬ ናብ ሓድነት መፂኹም ንህዝቢ ትግራይ ክትረድኡ ክትሕግዙ ሕዚ ንደልዮ ረዳእታ ቅርሺ ኣይኮነን ፅቡቅ መልክዓ ምድሪ ኣለና ፅቡቅ ወይዘር ኣለና ፅቡቅ ሰራሕተኛ ህዝቢ ኣለና ሕዚ ዘድልየና ቴክኖሎጂ ምሽግጋር እዩ ኣብዛኛው ካብ ዲያስፖራ እውን ንሪኦ ኩሉ ግዜ ገንዘብ እዩ ዝፍኖ ግን ገንዘብ ኣይኮነን ዘድልዮ ለህዝቢ ትግራይ ቴክኖሎጂን ናይ ትምህርትን ስልጠናን እዩ ዘድልዮ ሳይንስን ቴክኖሎጂን ሽግግር ጥራሕ ኢና ንደሊ ሕዚ ከመይ ጌርና ሳርባይ ዝገብር ባዕሉ ዝብል ካብ ዲያስፖራ ካብቲ ናይ ገንዘብ ወፃእ ወፂኡ ናይ ትምህርትን ናይ ስልጠናን እዩ ዘድልየና ዝብል ግምት ኣለኒ በተለይ ህዝቢ ትግራይ ኣብ ዝሓለፈ 3 ዓመት ናይ ጦርነት ናይ ኣእምሮ ናይ ጥይት ድምፂ ናይ ጭንቂ ስትረስ ኣለዎ ስለዚ ምሁራት ናይ ዲያስፖራና ኩልኩም ዘለኩም ንህዝቢ ትግራይ ስልጠና የድልዮ በተለይ ደግሞ ናይ ኢኮኖሚ ሽግግር ካብ ደገ ካብ ዘለኹምዎ ናይ ሳይንስን ቴክኖሎጂን ሽግግር የድልየና ካብኡ ብምቕፃል ኣብዛኛው ብዝተገበረ ተገይሩ ህዝቢ ፖለቲካ ናይ ባዕሎም ጉዳይ መራሕትና ናይ ባዕሎም ጉዳይ ይስርሑ ንሕና ግን ናይ ህዝብና እንታይ ንስራሕ ዝብል ከም ህዝቢ ጠጠው ኢልና ህዝብና ላብ ሓደጋ እንተይተጋለፀ እንተይተሸገረ ህዝብና ብታንክል ዓቕሚ ነድሕን ክብል ይፈቱ መልእኽተይ ካብኡ ብምቕፃል እንተተኽኢሉ ናይ ዲያስፖራ እውን ተዋፅዎ ማተርያል ብኣካል መንግስቲ ትግራይ ብዘማቻቸዎ ቦታ ከስተኻኽለሎም ኣለዎም ናይ ኣካል ጉድኣት ናይ ስድራ ስዋኣት ኢለ ይሓስብ ልዚ ግን መንበሪ ገዛውቲ ይኹን ብንብረቱ ብኣቕሑ ብማተርያል ንክትሕግዙና ኢና ንደሊ እዩ ከም ኣነ እንተኮይነ ክስካዕ ሕዚ ኣጋጣሚ ኮይኑ ተንኪዩ ዶክተር ለካ ንመጀመርያ ግዜ እየ ኣጋጣሚ ኣነ ናይ ካሊእ ሰብ ጉልበት ሓይል ተጠቂመ ይፈልጥን ንምንታይ እዩ ብታ ዝኽእላ ካብ ናይ ባዕለይ እየ ዝምኩር ግን ሓቢርካ ለይ ምስራሕ ግን ወሳኒ ድልየት እዩ በይንካ ከይድካ ትዘልቆ ነገር ከምዘየለ ስለ ዝርዳእ ግን በተለይ ኣብ ማሕበራዊ ሚድያ ይኹን ኣብ ንጥፈትና ዘለና በተለይ ኣብ ህዝቢ ትግራይን ዝጠቅም ፈሊኻ ኣብ ምግላፅ እውን ዓብይ ኣስተምህሮ ተትውሉ ክብል ይፈቱ ንምንታይ ኣብ ናገራና ዝኾኑ እሴታት ኣብ ትግራይ ዝጠቅምን ዘይጠቅምን ስለ ንውዕል ዘለና ዝተወሰና እየ ክብል ደልየ ልድሕሪ ስለ ዝመልሰና ንምንታይ እዩ በተለይ ኣብ ኢኮኖሚ ኣብ ህዝቢ ኣብ ትግራይ ኣብ ወታደራዊ ናይ ገራና እዮም ስለዚ ኣብ ናገራና ዝኾኑ ከዓ ናይ ገራና ንግወረቡ ብዝተረፈ እውን ኣብ ናይ መንግስቲ ተልዩ ፀገም እውን ብኣግባቡ ስኽን ኢልና ማዕዳን ኣግባቡን ክንረክብ ኣለና በተለይ ግን ኣብዚ ሰዓት ዘሎ ሓድነት ናይ ትግራዋይ እንኳን ተኸፋፊልናስ ሓድነት ኮይና እውን ኣብ ክባ ናይ ፀላእቲ ስለ ዘለና ግን በተለይ ሓድነትና ክጥንክር ኣለዎ ክብል ይደሊ ብዝበዝሕ ግን ሕዚ በይንኻ ተናፂልካ ዘይትኽእሎ ስለ ዝኾነ ናይ ዲያስፖራ ሕዚ ከም ኣነ እውን ሓሳበይ ወይ ለወባይ ከቕርብ ዝደሊ ብማተርያልን ብማሽነርን ብቴክኖሎጂን ንክትሕግዙና ኣነ ደሞ ንስኻትኩም እዚ ተሓጊዝኩምኒ ናይ ማንም ተየበልኩ ናይ ባዕለይ እውን ተጠቂመ ሶሞያን ኮንትራክተርን ብቑዓትን ዝኾኑ ደሞ ኣነ ንኸቕርብ ከመይ ጌርና ንህዝብና ነድሕን نزوم أكلات قداتنا لسبرا سوءنا ندبسولو كمي جرنا لخون زبل مساكاتكم بمرخاوي بتعمل دستانيا يا أنا دمو بتستوها هو متن بجنزب يندلن أنا بسوميا بزخولة جنزب بأخاتكم دمو بماتريال تحجزكمنا تحجزنا لهزبنا ندبسولو مساكاتكم كوينات على ذات ولو عدل سلاز رخوكو بتعمي مسجن يغني له.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zaru. We appreciate you. Just to summarize for a few of our guests here, Dr. Zaru is live in Tigray, and he's telling us about the projects that he's been working on and what he's expecting from us Tagaro diaspora and friends of Tigray as well. He's saying the only way you can't only help by giving money. He's saying your expertise and your time is needed here. So if there are experts, if you're an expert in your field, please reach out to him and see how you can help, whether it's producing materials or sending anything that you feel is helpful to the people. So despite any political mishaps that's happening, he's saying that we're focusing on the people. So by any means, if you think that you have half hour or an hour to give, reach out to him, and we'll be sharing his contact information as well. So that's what he's informing us and playing with us, that don't just look into your pockets. There's a different way of helping the people of Tigray. So please try to reach out to him and find out about the many projects that he's doing. Dr. Taka, thank you for bringing him. We are immensely grateful to be in his presence as well. Next up, we have a great panel discussion coming up led by Danny, and it will be the advocacy team, and he'll be introducing the panelists as well. Danny?
Thank you, Eden Gabriel-Selassie. I appreciate it. Welcome to the Advocacy and Diplomacy panel discussion. I just wanted to let everyone know to stay tuned. We have plenty of information coming up. The two other segments we have will be Hadaba Tigrinya, Path Forward, and then we'll also have healthcare panel, mental health awareness panel that's going to follow. So we'll start the advocacy. Welcome again. So I would like to introduce my panels first. I'm really delighted to have joined by this talented, hardworking advocate of Tigray. I'm going to have all of them introduce themselves. I'll start from Eden Kasa, and then we'll go from there. Eden, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Danny. Hello, everyone. My name is Eden Kasa. I am one of the founders and a president for Legacy Tigray Advocacy Group, and also I am part of program manager for Ethiopian for Tigray. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Eden. Jerusalem, all the way from London. If you can introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Danny. Hello, everybody else. أنا مسيو زلا خميل لخاتكم أنا يرسالي بها. Okay, let me start in English maybe because I'm supposed to speak in English, isn't it? So my name is Jerusalem. I live in UK, mainly in Scotland, but I travel to London and Scotland. I have lived in UK over 4 decades, and for the last 3 years I've been involved in Mahata UK advocacy. And that is what I do. We have advocacy team, and I'm the team leader within advocacy. Thank you.
Thank you. By the way, feel free to do both. You can mix Tigray as well. We'd love to have you share in Tigray as well. Brother Jeff, please introduce.
Salam, my name is Brother Jeff, and I'm coming to you from the United States of America, Denver, Colorado, what they sometimes term as Little Tigray. We're a sister city to Aksum. I've traveled extensively in Tigray and done a lot of studying there. And then we also have been, since day one, focusing our attention on the genocide that is taking place in Tigray. And we're 100% dedicated to making sure that we stay focused on that issue, even in the midst of other tragedies happening around the world. So I'm happy to be on this panel with these incredible humanitarians in this incredible community.
Thank you, Brother Jeff. Angasom from the Bay Area, please.
Thank you, Danny. Hi, everybody. Yes, as Danny mentioned, my name is Angasom, here from Bay Area, California. I have been working with SJT, and also I have been working with Danny and Mike here about all the protest organizing and holding the protests that we have been doing for the last 3 years. And specifically at SJT, I have been participating in the letter writing team so far. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Angasom. Simon from the DMV area, DC.
Hey guys, my name is Simon. I'm from the DMV area, as Danny said. I'm excited to be here, see what I can contribute and I can learn from you guys as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon. Rahwa from Omna, Tigray.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Rahwa. I'm from Seattle, but based here in New York. I'm affiliated with Omna Tigray as a researcher, and I also sit on the board of Health Professionals Network for Tigray. I work with various Tigray projects and organizations with building technical capacity as well as resource mobilization, and happy to be here.
So Dr. Bitzer and also Brother Russell were not able to attend. Do we have Melat? Melat, are you there? Okay, we don't see Melat. So we'll go ahead and get started. So happy to have you all. I'll start with Brother Jeff. It has been a year now since the Pretoria peace agreement has been signed. We're glad the guns have been silenced. However, as you know, Eritrean soldiers are still in Tigray. Amhara forces are still occupying the Western Tigray. We have over 1.2 million IDPs throughout Tigray and elsewhere. Refugees in Sudan and other places. Our wounded soldiers. Our hospitals are still not in good condition and lacking medication, as well as schools are having a hard time opening. So in terms of advocacy diplomacy, how do you see it? What's the path forward, Brother Jeff?
Thank you for that question. And I think the path forward is to make sure that we're able to look back and see where we've begun. And all of those dynamics that you just outlined sound like the same dynamics that we have been fighting against for 3 years. And so with that being said, I think it's important to realize that there have been steps forward, but we can't lose focus. And one of the things that I've learned is that the world never really paid attention. The world powers never really paid attention to the genocide in Tigray. And there was an incredible outpouring of advocacy and support, largely within the Tigrayan community, with limited support from humanitarians around the world. We must realize where we're at, and we must continue to fight forward and not lose focus by saying, well, now we are now focusing on Ukraine. Yes, it's important to do that. However, we must stay focused on where we were placing our advocacy. From Ukraine, we have gone now into Israel, and we've gone into Palestine. These are very important issues. The world has focused and centered a lot of energy around those dynamics. However, we still need to fight for Tigray. And so I'm on this panel to let you know that my attention has not drifted. My support has not waned. I have enough capacity to look at other tragedies as a humanitarian. However, my focus is on Tigray. What is the step forward? we need to continue to focus on what the demands were and are, such as the removal of those Eritrean troops, humanitarian aid, making sure that those who are responsible for this genocide are held accountable. Those are some of the things that I think we must continue to focus on. And what I'm basically saying is the energy that we have had from the beginning, we must still have that energy right now and not lose focus, not become divided, and not become distracted. And I'm here on this panel to assure those of you who I've been side by side with that I will continue to be side by side with you, even in this moment and as we move forward.
Thank you, Brother Jeff. Appreciate that. So, Eden Kasa, you're one of the hardest working advocates that I know. Thank you for all that you do. One of the things that brought us together, all advocacy groups, to work collectively is ICRE, ICHREE. And we know about the termination of this ICHRE. Eden Kasa, if you can just explain just briefly what ICRE was, what does this termination mean to Tigray, and then for the larger part of Ethiopia as well. And then if you can also talk about the alternative, what's the path forward in, with respect to ICRE? Thank you, Eden.
Thank you, Danny. Again, thanks everybody for being here. And I think everybody has been collectively inputting their expertise, skills, and efforts in ICRE and also everything else that we've been doing for the past 3 years. So it's not just a few people's work. So I just want to make sure that we're all acknowledging everyone, not only the people that we've seen in front of the cameras and pictures. So, but with that being said, the ICRE was international criminal, the criminal court or the Commission on Human Rights Experts on Ethiopia, and it was for the independent UN-led funded independent investigation to be conducted for the northern part of all Ethiopia, so including Amhara and Afar region as well. But that was terminated on December. It will no longer be renewed. That was something that we've been working really hard on because we know that with the Ethiopian government being one of the main perpetrators for the Tigray genocide, it cannot really hold itself accountable for the crimes that it has committed, or nor has the capacity to hold the foreign entities such as the Eritrean troops accountable for the crimes that has been committed within Tigray region. So we have worked on that. However, it was terminated for many reasons. It really was not just a lack of advocacy. I want to make sure that people are aware of that because we have put a lot of energy into that and we had support allies, people who made sure, especially with human rights organizations from Human Rights Watch, Amnesty, and other organizations who have been making sure that that independent investigation for Tigray is crucial, and also for Ethiopia for that matter, because of impunity and reoccurrence of atrocities that continues to be committed repeatedly without anyone being held accountable for the crimes that are being committed within Ethiopia and human rights violations as well in the other regions. So we tried to make sure that people saw that, and of course that the world understood it's not only about the extension of ICRE, but also expanding ICRE throughout the whole Ethiopia, so that way human rights violations can truly be seen by independent parties, people who are not responsible for the crimes that are being committed, so that way true justice and accountability and long-lasting peace could actually come for Ethiopia. That was our goal and intention. However, it did not work out that way. And now the message that is coming, or the reason for the next step people are saying, or at least the Ethiopian government is saying, is the transitional justice, which is taking a lot of us actually in wanting to understand what that means, what that policy means, and what it really defines, and would it really actually lead to a true justice and accountability, or actually just justice for that matter, which is not, which is really unreliable and is flawed because it has a lot of holes in it. So what we're doing is trying to understand that we do have that ICRI, despite of not having a full access to Ethiopia and to the regions that has been, those atrocities have been committed, there is enough report that actually came out. I mean, it might not be 110% of what we want, but without access, we really did get some information that is really credible and also really important to utilize. So something that we are trying to make sure is that we understand we utilize that report. That recording should not just be left alone or restarting as new, but that is something we could really use as a stepping ground or stepping stone on to continue to the next step of it. We've been trying to speak with experts and people and to get information on what they suggest the next steps should be, and also how we can utilize any of the reports that we do have. And we do have access right now for Tigray as well. And of course, the Tigray Commission, Tigray Genocide Commission in Tigray, who has been documenting a lot of their the atrocities within Tigray with international credible reporting systems, which they have been sharing with us recently as well. We want to make sure that that is not just recorded and documented, but not really being shared. So we're finding the right people to make sure that this is going into the right desks and offices. So with that being said, something that we've been trying to get is people to understand what does our long-term advocacy means.
So Erin, let me just ask you one more so you can answer that together. And I appreciate that she explained the ICRI portion of it. So yeah, as you mentioned, with this long-term advocacy, we have shifted now to a longer-term advocacy focused on many fronts, obviously, but number one, ending the ongoing genocide. That's including getting aid to our people, getting the invading forces out of Tigray, our IDPs to return home. Also, the issue of justice and accountability. And then thirdly, the issue of rebuilding security, and then as well as rehabilitation. So just with all this, what is long-term advocacy means for us, and how do we get people engaged? So thank you.
Sorry. Yeah. So I think long-term advocacy, we've been, I wanted to give a little bit of perspective. For the past 3 years, we've been working on other people's schedule timing. What I mean by that is ICRI showed up. We had a few of Congress and Senate bills that had a specific type of deadlines. We had some resolutions and petitions that had a specific type of deadlines. So basically for the last 3 years, everyone was telling us by this date, this has to happen. By this date, Pretoria has to be signed. By this date, this is what we're expecting. So now we have gotten to the point that the people of Tigray and plus at the diaspora to basically say, okay, what has happened in the last 3 years? Yes, it still is ongoing. We still have IDPs, refugees still not back home. The aid, the 40% of the occupation of Tigray, and of course, just an accountability rebuilding the phase is still ongoing. So all that we're seeing is we may actually have went back to square one or half of that, because again, these very basic things, the priority that the people of Tigray have been asking still have not been addressed or have not been provided. So the long-term advocacy of it is, again, in wanting to understand 3 years ago, everybody who is here, maybe and despite maybe a few people I can mention here, nobody was doing advocacy, including myself. I was just doing humanitarian support in anything that I've seen around the world, but not really specifically and understanding what advocacy is and what it means step by step in trying to achieve some sort of specific goals. And so we have huge goals when it comes to Tigray, to the people of Tigray, and in thinking about the people of Tigray. So when we say that, making sure that we're shifting our goals and intentions and saying that we have these 4 points that we always have to work on until we get these resolved. Nothing has really been resolved, so therefore you still have those 4 points to prioritize and to make sure that those are being answered every day. But also, the patience that will take for this thing to happen, we need to take a moment to say, okay, I am capable of doing this, and so therefore I am going to participate with these organizations or with these people. Or as Dr. Zerwa said, if you do have, you're a person that is in science and in in helping in any of the expertise that you do have and providing technology support or training. Yes, you have that as expertise, please go ahead and reach out that person. So that way there is some sort of a collective effort and a collective goal, which is at the end of it is Tigray, right? We all don't have to go on the same road, but at the majority of the answer after a few years from today, it will be saving Tigray, saving the people of Tigray. So if that's the case, I wanted to make sure that that long-term advocacy is really understood by everybody. And also something that I wanted to encourage and also to let the people of Tigray know is we hear this thing where they said, we have not forgotten the people of Tigray. We have not, because we may not be out there and you may not see us on TV or on protest doing something, but we truly are doing something in the background. And that really requires a few things, which is the education and the awareness that comes into, lobbying or policy making. These things we have to have into meetings, and we have to go to these meetings, but you may not know, you may not see them. But at the end of the day, always the priority is the people of Tigray. So if that's the case, I want to make sure that everyone knows adaptation and flexibility and the fact that we need to adjust our methods. It cannot be 110% the way we were doing it the last 3 years, because we lost a lot. People have lost their families, kids are dying, we have mental health issues rising here in the diaspora. The same thing is being applied in Tigray as well, because it is the energy that we exert on advocacy. It's not simple, it's not easy. So if once we acknowledge this, once we understand what it is that we're capable of, I think it will be easier truly to get a collective response and result that we're hoping for. So before I end this, I just wanted to say that I personally am working on something just that would actually bring us all together. So that way there is some sort of a message and also some sort of a plan for everybody else to take in a way that makes sense to them and also doable by all ages and groups, not just diaspora youth or a specific type of people, but whatever it is that you're very good at, just so you can take that and just make it your thing. Like just apply that to your everyday life. So I am doing that, but once it's ready, I will share that, and hopefully it's this. Last but not least, I want to say, take a moment to read the 2 reports that came out on Tigray, right? The 2 reportings, they're large, read them, read those things, whatever it is that it's saying, so that way you can really understand the atrocities, risks that they're mentioning. These are the messages that you will be communicating with anybody to raise awareness on Tigray. So whatever you say Tigray at any given moment, Tigray has always been the focus, but that is advocacy. And sometimes people tend to lose a little bit of hope whenever they don't see something really large or big happening. But last but not least, I want to say thank you to Dr. Zaru and of course everyone else that is doing some sort of funding and sustainability and crisis management and also rehabilitation, rebuilding. Something that is always important is right now, Tigray, we don't have at least the basic necessities when it comes to education, water, and food. So these are basic necessities. Without that, there is no Tigray because there's no people. So if we agree on this, please, whenever you're doing rehabilitation, rebuilding, or anything like that, do a prioritized rebuilding, meaning that education should be the first one to come, or water wells should be the first thing to come, or health care should be the first thing to come before hotels, before Menafisha ever actually comes into the conversation. So with that being said, I stand with the people of Tigray. I can't wait to come home and just do whatever it is that I can do. But we've never forgotten you. You may not see us out there protesting, but I promise you the focus is the people of Tigray and what you have to say. So we're listening to what you guys have to say. Thank you. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Eden. Yeah, stay tuned. Speaking of mobilization, Rahwa, can you talk about the importance of resource mobilization for recovery and rehabilitation efforts, just with the ongoing engagement with our community and then even outside of our community? Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a matter of sustainability. So during the war, our community was utilizing all the resources that we had, financial, time, people quit their jobs to help our people back home. And 3 years later, it's not sustainable for us. And so we need to mature the ways in which we do resource mobilization, specifically around creating partnerships, so public-private partnerships. It could be around private foundations, just a way to move it from the responsibility from an individual to making it a bit more institutionalized, so we're able to rebuild at scale. And it's not just, when I talk about resource mobilization, it's not just like money and capital injections, but something that's much more sustainable and involves like grassroots efforts on the ground, so that we're creating jobs and people are able to sustain themselves and so that they're not dependent on humanitarian aid. We need the people back home, we need jobs. The biggest risk, one of the things that I'm worried about, is that without job creation, there's going to be mass immigration outside of Tigray abroad. And so we want to avoid massive brain drains. We want to help nurture the talented people within Tigray back home and give them opportunities to be able to, explore their passions and also give back and build, because we do have the talent. And so really my ask is, whether you have technical capacity or whether you have the networks or financial means, just to continue to put Tigray at the forefront of your mind when you're having conversations with institutional stakeholders, because we have a lot of work to do and we need to diversify away from governmental aid. And the aid that's coming in right now, it's not enough. And to what Eden said before as well, we want to make sure that our people are here and are surviving, so that when justice does come, that they're here to actually see it come into fruition.
Rahwa, great. Thank you. Great points. So let's shift to, let's go all the way to London, Jerusalem. We're happy that you're with us. Can you talk about advocacy, diplomacy work in Europe, particularly in London? I know you've done many protests as well. Talk about it, please, and what's path forward that for the Europe community? Feel free to mix it up, Jerusalem Hafsid. Unmute, please, Jerusalem. Jerusalem, can you unmute?
Sorry, I wasn't aware. I didn't unmute. Okay, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for SJT organizing this important meeting and panel discussion. Before I start talking about the advocacy, I want to highlight a couple of things. I'm here representing, the advocacy team in Makhata, UK. Makhata Tigray UK is an unincorporated charity organization that is independent, that is very inclusive. We don't have any particular party affiliation to any party, to any political group. So, we work across UK. We work with all politicians that come from different parts of, political party. And that's what we do. And this November, I want to say this, taking advantage of November, because you have organized the meeting for the 3rd year of genocide, and also for the 1st year of the Pretoria and Nairobi agreement. November is a very important month in UK. In this month, the UK celebrates, not commemorates, in fact, the First and Second World War heroes. And, they put flower, on the monument they have set. So I'm wearing this one, you see, this one you see, a poppy symbol to remember and symbolize, those who passed, fighting for their countries during First World War and Second World War. I'm wearing on the other side something we have made up in Makhata to, commemorate, those who passed away in Tigray, fighting for Tigray's dignity and survival. So this is a symbol in this month, we want to symbolize our martyrs, but also those who are alive and injured, and the people of Tigray as well. So, the most important thing within our advocacy work is to create a couple of things. One is awareness raising within the politics of UK. The other one is collecting evidence. That's what we have been doing for the last 3 years, because Makhata was set up 3 years ago for particular reasons of fighting and doing, awareness about the situations in Tigray. That started with the situation of COVID, the situation of locust, the situation of refugees in Yemen, in Saudi Arabia, and so on. And then it progressed when the war started, highlighting the genocidal war and making sure that the political parties here know, the media knows. So that is what we have been doing: awareness raising, putting pressure, collecting evidences, gathering evidences, reporting, organizing seminars, protests, and writing letters to politicians and representing our people, becoming a voice to our people. So quite a lot of work has been done in the last 3 years in terms of advocacy. We have managed to rally some political parties across the political spectrum, whether they are Labour Party, Liberal Democrat Party, Conservative Party, the Green Party. It doesn't matter. There is an all-party political group called EPPG. We have been working with EPPG. Many MPs, Member of Parliaments, MPs stand for Member of Parliaments, have been supporting our cause. You've heard during the sexual violence, the frightening sexual violence that was happening in Tigray, still happening too. Helen Hayes, the MP, was, presenting the case in Parliament. That is the work of, Tigrayans and advocacy in UK. We have been organizing a seminar on genocide, genocide to be recognized, and that is what is happening in Tigray. Many of you have been invited for that seminar, a 4-day seminar in November 2021. This is to highlight. Many experts like Professor Mukesh Kapila came and participated in that. People like Dr. Ewelina Ochap, who has worked on genocide, came and joined the meeting and contributed to the conference. It was viewed by so many thousands of people, those 4 days of conference, Tigray genocide to be recognized as a genocide. So we had a lot of chat on that. Martin Plaut has been part of it, Sally Kebo.
Recording in progress.
So, it shows you we've been working with people who have access and knowledge to media, access and knowledge to politics, access and knowledge to advocacy. So that is what we've been working. As a result of our work, our children have managed to produce with Sally Kibo, The Plain Sight. If you have seen it, I'm sure you've seen the horrific story of sexual violence that has happened in Tigray. This was done by our children, like Rowena and Rita and Sally Kibo. So you can access and buy the book. And we have also managed to work and put an evidence to ICRI in June 2023 this year. We put over 254 or 51 pages of report to ICRI about the atrocities that happened in Tigray. Not only that, we put also over 60 videos of atrocities and crimes against humanity that has been committed in the last 3 years to ICRI. Not only that, we also worked with the all-parliamentary group, APPG, as I said to you. There was a Tigray inquiry as a pressure, was building. The all-party parliamentary group decided to have a Tigray inquiry to see the atrocities that were committed in Tigray in the last 3 years. We put a report to the APPG as well, this all-parliamentary group, and others from across the globe also have been pushing, and working with the APPG group in UK. So they, in fact, what was the title of the report? They put a report, The Three Horsemen of the War in Tigray, in September 2023, this year, if you've seen it. The report is incredibly, compelling situation that happened in Tigray. So you can have a look at that. That was an extensive work that we have done. We translated the inquiry forms into Tigrinya for people to tell us their individual testimony that has happened in their life, in their community, in their family. So we presented this information to the APPG group. APPG is, as I said, all parliamentary all-party parliamentary group. And, there is a human rights section within the PPG, human rights, international law, and accountability, justice and accountability. In this group are, very well-known international lawyers and barristers that have done this report you have seen for the Three Horsemen. So the advocacy work has been extensive. We are still carrying on doing our advocacy work. We've had, last week a protest at the US Embassy. We have had a protest at the Parliament on Friday, just a few days ago, Parliament Square, across the UK Parliament. It goes on. Why are we there? Related with the cessation of hostility, we are focusing on a couple of things I wanted to say. One, in the cessation of hostility, it says the permanent cessation of hostilities. This permanent cessation of hostilities has not happened in Tigray. Those people who are provoking hostilities are still holding areas of Tigray and still harassing and killing, intimidating, and sexually violating our women in Western Tigray. So that cessation of hostilities has not happened. So we have been shouting as our advocacy and diplomacy work that, the Eritrean forces and the Amhara forces have to leave Tigray, because that is part of the Pretoria and Nairobi agreement, permanent cessation of hostilities. The other is protection of civilians. Protection of civilians is written in the sections of the Pretoria and Nairobi agreement, but protection of civilians is not happening in Tigray. People are so vulnerable. So many people are living in 500 schools. This is Getachew Rada's, I'm quoting, 500 schools in Tigray have become shelters of IDP. So many millions of IDPs are still living in makeshift camps and in schools. So this is the protection of civilians and the protection of our people. It has not happened, which is part of the cessation of hostility Pretoria agreement. So our advocacy work is also highlighting that our communities are not protected. Our women are still violated. Our children are still not in school. Our schools are, all the destroyed apparatus are still happening. And, we are pressurizing the UK government to do and use their leverage, not doing business as usual, but using their capacity and power to put pressure, to have this protection of civilians. The other one is humanitarian access. As you know, Tigray has been collectively punished for the last 3 years. Despite the fact, starvation has been used as a weapon of war, it is still being used as a weapon of war. Under the pretext of that, some food was stolen from whatever, places. Tigray was again punished by the World Food Program and USAID not to have food. So people are not getting simple humanitarian services. So we are pushing on that. Tigray should not be punished for the faults of what under international law, that is not supposed to happen. And we are pushing on that. And that is also our advocacy work, humanitarian access, unfettered humanitarian access. We've been writing, in fact, recently to all faith leaders in UK to use the leverage that food is not used as a weapon, because it is. And under the agreement, humanitarian access should be unfettered, but it's not unfettered, as you know. And the other one, maybe partly or whatever has been done, is the disarmament, demobilization of our TDF and reintegration. I don't know how much the reintegration has been done. The disarmament of our soldiers has happened, but the disarmament of Fano militias is still there. The Amharas are still armed. The Eritreans are still armed, roaming around, parts of territory in Tigray. So, you know, we want to push on these aspects in terms of our, what you call it, advocacy work. So we are still doing the pressure and putting the pressure not to have business as usual by British government and all the political parties to use their leverage. And also communities are writing to their MPs that Tigray is still suffering. Children are still suffering. They're not going to school. You know, there's no salary for, you know, workers. Tigray is in fact drained of its educated people. There is a brain drain. People are on exodus of leaving Tigray because they cannot see any future. If there is no future in Tigray, nobody would be living in Tigray. So we are advocating to these politicians to do their best that Tigray is not sustaining this kind of situation. Humanitarian access, no humanitarian access. People are leaving the country, they don't have a salary, medical services are still, you know, rudimental, all the destruction is still happening, and we cannot talk about transitional justice because there has not been any transition at all. So, you know, that is the focus of our diplomacy that has been going on, and we have been doing all this work in the last 3 years. If there is any question further or something I have not clarified, I'm quite happy. We have also other teams that are working on resource mobilization. We have sent, you know, Tigray, if you have seen it on TMH and also Tigray TV, some medical equipments, not medical equipments, but, you know, helping equipments for the disabled veterans and for children as well. So it was there in last month.
Jerusalem, you guys are doing incredible work. We thank you.
So,
we thank you.
We are helping, we're raising money for Sidra. So what? People are, you know, trying to sponsor one family, at least for a year. We're working on that. We are doing, you know, community engagement work to have less enemies, to work with our, you know, with the further communities of Eritreans and the Amhara and Oromo and so on, but it is quite tough. So our work is focusing around that, and I think UK advocacy, UK, Mahata UK is really an amazing non-political, non-partisan organization, inclusive, that has done an amazing work, and it's all a group work that we have been doing.
Thank you.
Maybe to stop it there, and if there is any further question, I'm happy to elaborate. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your service and your community as well. Simon, you know, you've been in the front line since the beginning, since day one. We appreciate you. Protest, advocacy, diplomacy. You're right there in front of the IMF office. You do it all. So my question to you is, if you can talk a little bit about the importance of civic engagement in terms of building relationships with Congress and local governments, and then how we can get our community more engaged and civically engaged in to do this important advocacy work. If you can talk a little bit about that, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, Danny, thank you very much. So in terms of civic engagement, it's a primary way of gathering allies, and the Tigrayan movement, when it first started 3 years ago, was doing a great job when it comes to that. And it was led by individuals rather than organizations, people that felt, hey, you know, this civic organization in my workplace, or this civic organization in my space could contribute more to Tigray cause, and they would reach out to them, and the civic engagement was being ignited back in the days. But now, when you look at what's happening right now and what's being done, I think we have forgotten how important those engagements were. And I feel like the fact that there's too many organizations has discouraged individuals from taking things to their hand and going out and reaching out by themselves. So each and every one of us, we expect, oh, this organization will do it, that organization will do it, and instead of taking initiative and then acting upon it. So two things, right? We know the importance. We've seen it when we were doing it. I would say 2 years ago. I think when I say the reason I'm saying 2 years ago is that's when it started declining. Year commemoration of the genocide. If you look at the community engagement and the civic society engagements, they started to decline. I remember when I went to New York for protests, the BLM movement was right by our side. They were protesting next to us. And when you ask the question, what happened next to it after that, haven't heard from them. And when you see the picture and how it happened and where we got that resource and that engagement, it's a single individual that went out and reached out to them. And that individual introduced them to the community, and the community did the rest of the work, and they were part of our movement for a while. And so we need to, here's the thing, right? I'm going to be brutally honest. As organizations, each and every single organization need to assess their contribution and how they've been operating in the past and see what has gone wrong. We keep saying, oh, it's fatigue, it's comfort zone, this and that, for a reason why our advocacy work, civic engagements, and the likes to decline. But I would like to ask the question: is it really? When I started explaining about the BLM movement and the New York trip, the first person that comes to mind is Bakimos. Bakimos was an individual, a force not to be reckoned with. Where is he now? Has any organization or any individual went out and asked him, hey, Baki, he had 101,000 followers on Instagram. What happened to you? Why aren't you active? What happened to the activities that you were doing? I don't know personally. I'm thinking of it. What happened? I should have asked. And when you dig deep and start noticing that individuals like Bakimos, Mele, Ramha, I can count 1,000 individuals that were very influential that have gone away. I see a lot of individuals in this group that are leaders of multiple organizations. How many of your most prominent members have disappeared? What happened then? Is it, organizational prides, individuals within organizations that are so, have some sort of pride where they're pushing people away? Is it conflict of interest? Is it the fact that they're not seeing handheld impact on the work that they're doing? What are those reasons? What are the problems? If we can't figure out these problems, it is going to be very hard for us to engage back and bring all these individuals back and have, our movement as powerful and as strong as it was. Danny, you remember, I see Miki Tigrai here. I remember how it was when we did the second anniversary commemoration protest in DC. How angry were people? How engaged, energetic were people to act up and bring a difference? What happened to that energy? Who killed that energy? I'm telling you here, right? And I'm seeing this. Yesterday, the third year commemoration that happened in DC, I saw so little young people active. There's a lot of, our fathers and mothers engaged. And I started thinking, right, what happened to the youth? Where did we go? Right? Each and every individual, if you're going to say, oh, fatigue, the things that are going on, the sad news that we're hearing about losses of our friends and family. Really? Wasn't I on a protest after hearing that Adigrat was bombarded by a drone and six of my mom's neighbor died? Haven't I heard people's testimony at a protest crying that their mother's house was bombarded? Is it really that the sadness that is not driving us to go out? If that's the case, there's something wrong in the leadership again. We should have used that anger to mobilize and galvanize our individual and community to go out and be active. So again, the question is about civic engagement, right? Civic engagement was awesome when it first started. We were doing good jobs. The BLM movement was on our side. The Armenian community was on our side. The Palestinian and the Israelis, two groups that never came together, were on our side. What happened now? is Omna Tigrai or is SJT or whatever organization as confident as it was 2 years ago to call a protest and have thousands of people attend? Are you? If not, why? What happened? What killed the motivation, the anger, the interest? Is it personal conflict? Is it, we need to figure that problem. And the excuses that are coming out saying that, oh, it's fatigue, resource depletion. Okay, if it's resource depletion, what caused the depletion? Is it because there's too many organizations and people are just involved in too many of them and they're getting tired? If that's the case, how can we come together and solve this? So we need to dig deep and understand what we lost in terms of civic engagements and the like, so that we can do better. There's no question that civic engagement is one of the ways to tackle the problems that we're having. If that answer is yes, okay, how did we do it in the past? And what are we not doing the things that we used to do that we're not doing now? If we're doing the same thing that we used to do back in the days, it means that we need to change something. If things have changed, it means that the things that we changed are not good. So we need to assess. We need to look at to the person that's sitting next to me in the board meetings and see the person that's sitting on the left side of me and figure out what happened. If it's individuals that kill this movement, hold them accountable. Bring them to meetings. Be like, hey, you say this and this happened and this individual's not coming anymore. Can you apologize? Can you set your pride aside? Because I've seen it in organizations. I've seen a single individual with too much pride in them killing organizations. And it's sad to see that, while millions are suffering. I don't want to take too much, but thank you very much for the opportunity. I feel like I went way out of the topic, but I'm trying to bring the fact that civil engagement is important.
Yeah. Great point, Simon. Great points. Thank you. So, Angasom, you've been with many groups, again, frontline protests, leading community, working with other organizations. You also work with the SJT writing team. If you could just highlight a couple of things and what you guys are working on in the advocacy writing team, and then also if you can touch on how can we work together across organizations, diaspora communities, with our people in Tigray, including the Tigray government, to make our advocacy more effective and strategic. So if you can talk about that, in terms of path forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. I think many of you have said a lot of critical points on how we have been doing, what we need to do going forward, all that stuff. So as Danny mentioned, I have been participating in a lot of Tigrayan organizations and groups and community engagements as much as I can. So to just focus on the letter writing as one team of SJT, we have been working on that, and we already wrote like over 600 letters to international organizations, individual influential people, concerned authorities, groups, organizations like United Nations, United States, European Union, Human Rights Watch, and many others. And so this was being done alongside the hundreds of protests that we have been doing, which was happening side by side. The letters were meant to create awareness, put pressure, and stop the suffering of our people back home in Tigray. So when we go out protest in the streets of many cities, we are not just going protesting, we are also working hard to write letters so we can send that to the offices that we are targeting for that specific protest goal. So I think what we can learn from here is, so we didn't have any formal institution or organization or office that we can go get information, ask them for any questions or advise us on how to do, what to do during that specific day. And also we haven't had this type of genocidal war in our life. We didn't know, everybody was just living their life. So we just we're trying to do whatever we can, learning along the side. And thanks to technology, sometimes we have been using the recent, like latest technologies to, it could be, reading for guidelines on a specific subject matter. If we want to do something, then we can just, Google there and use AI or something to know about the world politics, the guidelines, the rules, and all that stuff. As I mentioned, we didn't have like formal institution where we can consult, thanks to many Tigrayan knowledgeable people and some experiences with authorities. We have our very own diplomat Johannes here. He has been engaging in many meetings. We have been just throwing all the questions that we have. It doesn't matter if he has answer or no. It doesn't matter if we know it or not. So we're just utilizing whatever we can in our capacity, but we have also been using technology to guide us through, it could be creating a formal template when we write letters and all that stuff. So I think the main challenge here was, as I said, we didn't have formal institution or organization or office, a regular office where we can go gather, reach, even sometimes even to just cry out. So it was a challenging, but I think with that challenge, I believe we have done an amazing job. Brother Simon mentioned, like, it hasn't been as it should be in the last 2 years. I agree, totally agree. And we have been discussing on why that's happening, how we can improve, what we can do. So I think the factors that I mentioned are contributing to that. But I always ask, okay, so, during the last 3 years, it has been so dark and so challenging, but we have done an amazing job. And the driving force, like the energy, the spirit was amazing. So, and I believe one of the main factors for that energy was nobody was expecting nothing from nobody. So everybody, whether it's individually, in group, or in formal institution, was trying to contribute as much as possible. Nobody was waiting for somebody to lead them, guide them, or give them orders. I think for as Tigrayans, we have to continue that spirit. It doesn't matter. We can argue, we can fight and disagree on many areas, as long as our goal, the final goal, is to help support Tigray and our people. There could be many disagreements, but there are many grounds where we can work together individually or as a team, as an organization. So I believe one of the factors is we should ask ourselves, if I'm working in the, under the team of SJT, and if there are many areas that I cannot agree with the leadership or with the whole team, I can still continue to contribute to Tigray and the people of Tigray. I'm not working to help, please Dr. Naka, or Dr. Taka, or Dr. Mahtama, or somebody else, or SJT or organization. My work should be targeted to the people of Tigray and for my people, for my country, right? So if I am in disagreeing with subjects, I can leave that along and work on the areas that we can agree and work together. If not, I can still work on having my individual contribution to my people again. So we seem to miss this goal when we work as a team, when we work under an organization. And I believe that's one of the main factors. We are losing many influential individuals. So I believe we need to keep this in mind always. What's our final goal? Why am I doing this? Why am I working day and night? This is for the people of Tigray, for my country, for my people. So it doesn't matter if I disagree with everybody who is in here, I can still continue working for my people. So we need to keep that in mind, I believe. And also, as I mentioned, we are just starting to work and formalize our process, trying to create institutions, civic service organizations, and many teams. So along the side, we're just learning. We are going to create, to make many mistakes. It doesn't matter. We shouldn't take it we shouldn't personalize it. We can learn from it, but we have to always remember that we are still learning. And once we reach into a situation where we can go rule everybody with a formal guideline and have formal rules, then we can criticize each other and then work on having our organizations being strong. So I think, Danny, I think I have mixed up all of your questions, but
you're good. You're good. You did well.
I've tried to mention what we have been doing, and what we should continue to do would be to focus our ultimate goal, and still we are all together, united, and then please respect each other, keep working together, recognize, acknowledge each other. Somebody could be tired, we have to push each other, and then still keep the energy and the spirit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angasom. You're on point. I appreciate it. Melat, we're wrapping up, you guys. We have great 2 panels left. Time is sensitive. Let's go to Melat. Melat, if you can talk about, you've been in the front line as well, like Simon and like many advocate here. So in terms of youth advocacy, where are we? How do we get the youth more engaged? If you can talk a little bit about that, and based on what people of Tigray want, not based on what we want. And Enkasa says that all the time, and I really appreciate that. And Melat, if you can talk about that, please. Thank you. Melat, unmute, please.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. How are you? Thank you so much for the organizers of this panel discussion. I know I joined in a little bit late, but I was listening into everything that was said, and I think everybody brought up some really good points. I agree with everything that was said so far.
Can you turn on your video? You're live.
Yeah, okay, 1 second. Hello?
Yes, we can see you.
Sorry, I'm in the car.
Thank you. No worries.
Yeah, so I definitely think in terms of youth advocacy, like Simon said, and I'm sure many others have said before, things have definitely took a little bit of a downfall the last year and a half, I would say. So in the beginning, the energy was amazing. People were mobilizing. People who didn't have a Tigrayan community in their community were reaching out to other states, other cities, and making all these great connections. And now we do have a lot of really good connections with people from different states, from different cities. We do have the numbers. It's just a matter of getting everybody on the same page, which is why I think it's really important for organizations like SJT to keep that spirit alive within the Tigray youth community, because they really do look up to the elders. Not that we're all elders, but they look up to the elders to kind of like create those spaces for us. There's a lot of youth that do create those spaces themselves as well. TYLV yesterday did a live called Reigniting Our Commitment to Tigray. I don't know if you guys saw it on Instagram, but that is also something, just having those conversations with people, making sure that, at the end of the day, we all came together with the same goal, and that goal was Tigray, and to keep that goal ignited as best as we can. So,
wonderful. Thank you. We appreciate it. Great points. So, Brother Jeff, I'm coming to you. A couple of points, and just if you can combine them and both. One, really, it's clear to all of us now, UN and the international community really doesn't care about humanitarian rights when it comes to, geopolitics and interest in their foreign policy with respect to that. Can you talk about the importance of geopolitics in terms of for our advocacy and the diplomacy work to strategize better? Number two, can you talk about the importance of working with other groups in Ethiopia, other oppressed groups, and then other groups as well, such as Palestine and other oppressed nations? how is it that in an Armenian group, for example, how is it that we can work together moving forward? It comes to mind, Darfur is another one that I can think of. So if you can talk about that, I would greatly appreciate those 2 points.
You know, just in closing, it's amazing the energy and the expertise and the commitment that is on this panel and within the Tigrayan community. And I think it's important to realize that for the past 3 years, activists around the world have been looking at the Tigrayan community as an example of what mobilization looks like. They were very surprised that a small group of individuals could garner so much energy and gain attention across the world based on self-determination. And so I think that it's important to continue to embrace the allies and embrace those who are struggling for human rights. The politics are very intricate across all communities, regardless of who's struggling for what. One of the things that brings us all together is our humanitarian interests in terms of respect for life. The politics are going to be the politics. However, the activism looked in the past, moving forward, it's going to look different. Your energy is going to be different. You're going to have to reassess what works and what you would like to adjust and do better. So just listening to this panel today, some of the things that I heard is that, one, everyone is a part of this fight, and everyone can contribute in ways that they are able to contribute. You know, human rights need to be monitored outside of the politics, but via independent observers of what is actually taking place in Tigray. Lessons learned today were understanding what advocacy is, and then also realizing when you've reached particular goals and continue moving forward. What expertise does everyone have to share with this particular movement and sharing your particular gift without having to try to do things beyond your own capacity? We know that the cameras are facing other places now. They are facing in Israel, in Palestine, in Ukraine, and other places. They're not facing those cameras toward Black people in this world. However, Tigrayans and the Tigrayan community has gained support from others outside of our communities, and we need to leverage that support by supporting the human self-determination rights of those who are being oppressed and suppressed. We need to, as mentioned, read those ICRI reports. We need to, secure resources in a different way. I mean, if we're not receiving the humanitarian support via the channels that have been in the past, what are some other ways that we can mature the resource mobilization? These are all things that I just heard on this particular panel right now. You know, the commemoration of those who are our heroes. You know, what is it that they can share with us? And then also recognizing that, yes, we are sacrificing, but there are others that have sacrificed the ultimate cost, and they have paid with their lives in support of the Tigrayan community. And then also realize that there are many successes that have taken place, including political successes, including human rights successes. And an example of that is, the British Parliament speaking of the sexual violence that has taken place on the body of Tigrayan women in the form of genocide. And so access the past, adjust the advocacy, continue to mobilize, and move forward, knowing that this is a just cause. This is a long battle. It's been 3 years, and we know that it's going to be longer. The battles in Ukraine are extending. The dynamic that's happening in Palestine and Israel, that is ongoing. And so the Tigrayan people fight in the spirit of Alula. You have been here. You know this. There's this self-determination. And we need to take that energy and face it towards and in support of what the people of Tigray want, without being caught up in our own personal feelings. And as long as we stay focused, on the ultimate cause, which is stopping the genocide in Tigray, then we will be successful, and the future will look at us as heroes as we look at those who have gone before us as heroes and sheroes as well. Tigray Tisa'er.
Thank you, Tigray Tisa'er. Listen, that was our benediction, but you guys, because of time, we're not going to have each person have a closing statement, but Eden, if you would, I love how Eden says, that's our motto. We're not tired. So Eden, I will have you close with that just last words, and then we'll move to the next segment. Thank you, everyone, all the my guests. I appreciate you. Please, you're more than welcome to stay here, and we'll move on to the next segment after Eden. Thank you. Tigray Tisa'er.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Brother Jeff. Yes, Tigray Tisa'er and Tisa'eriya. And really, honestly, at the end of the day, we have so many problems in Tigray, and it's not enough even to divide it among ourselves to actually accomplish everything. So there is so much work to be done. So and also the fact that it's different. It's a marathon, not a spirit. I think Helena used to say that all the time to us, like, just make sure that you understand what it is that you're going for, why you're doing what you're doing. But I always say, ask yourself if you're doing exactly what you hope to do for the people of Tigray, then I am not going to be bugging you about it. But and long-term advocacy, and so that way we can really truly achieve the bigger goal. And the bigger goal is Tigray. Save Tigray, you free Tigray, and then everything else that comes into the game. But thank you, Danny. Thank you, SJT, for having this thing. And especially the people of Tigray. Please listen to the people of Tigray. And thank you, Angason, for always saying, let's not focus about our own special and personal issues, because it's not about us. It really is about the people of Tigray. So thank you. Thanks, Danny.
Wow, amazing. I don't know. I'm speechless. What transpired today is to show that we are the phoenix rising. We always have been, we always will be. Our ancestors have showing us how to stand up for ourselves and for others. So some might be taking a break, some might be, just trying to figure out, okay, how do I contribute individually? How do I contribute as a group? Is I think what's happening, it was in our communities. But I do want to say thank you for all the panelists. Thank you, Danny, for leading it. And we greatly appreciate every individual that showed up today, that showed up from day one. We do need to learn how to say thank you to each other as well, because again, we do need to fill our energy and spirit and show that we are here as collectively. And the next panel is going to be in Tigray, but it doesn't mean we don't know the language either. They will try their best to intricate it with English as well, but know that the third the third panel is going to be in English, and it's going to be focused on mental health as well. So please don't go away, stay tuned, grab your coffee, grab your brunch, come back in. And to our panelists, if you're able to stay, that would be wonderful. If not, life happens, go do life and come back in and tune in later on. And the next panel is going to be led by Miki Tigray. Miki, take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Eden, Danny, كلكم ማለት እዩ ኣብዚ ፓነል ዲስከሽን ትርከቡ ዘለኹም ክቡራት ኣሕዋትናን ኣሕዋትናን ብእንግሊዝኛ ፕሮግራም ዝተመሓላለፈ ነቲ ያንግ ጀነሬሽን ናብ ዳያስፖራ ተወዲዱ ዝዓበየ ወይ ድማ ስደት ዝዓበየ በቲ ዝርድኦ ቋንቋ ንክንሕልፈሉ ንቐፃሊ እውን ትግራይ ክዓቢ ከላ ከምኡ ጌርና ብተፈላለዩ ቋንቋታት ክነመሓይሽ እዩ እቲ ዕላማና እዚ ኢለ ያው መብዛሕትና ኣብዚ ፓነል ትረአዩ ዘለኹም ንፋለጥ ኢና መብዛሕትና ብኣካል ከምኡ እውን ብዙም ኣኼባ ብምንታይ ብሰንኪ ትግራይ ዝመፀ ማለት እዩ ኣብ 3 ዓመት ናይ ዝሓለፈ እዚኡ ተጋሩ ኣብ ዳያስፖራ ዘለና ጠፊእና ዝነበርና እየ ዝብላኒ ጠፊእና ዝነበርና ናይ ትግራይ ዝወረደና ግፍዒ ናብ ሓደ ምፅኢና ኣሎ ኣብቲ ማእኸልና ግን እኒ እቶም ኣሕዋትና ኢሎም እዮም እቶም መናእሰይ ታይና ኮይና ዝብል ሓደ ሕቶታት ዓይነት ኮይኑ ግን መረዳእታ ሓሊፎምና ኣለዎ ማለት እዩ ናብ ናይ ባዕልና ስምዒት ዘይኮነሲ ንህዝቢ ትግራይ ዶክተር ዘርኡን ዓንቶ ብዓመይ ኣነ ክሕግዝ እየ ካብካትኩም ዝለዋወ እውን ገንዘብ ዘይኮነስ ብተፈላለዩ ማሕበራት ክትሕግዙና ኢሉ መልእኽቲ ኣሕሊፉና ኣሎ እዩ እዚ ደ ኣብዚ ክንሳተፍ ብትግርኛ ዘለና ኣሕዋትና ንሓትናን ያው እኒ ዲፕሎማት ዮሃንስ እኒ ኢሳያስ እኒ ኣቶ መስፍን ከምኡውን ሓድሽ ናይ ኤስጄቲ ቸርመን ዝኾነ ዶክተር ማህተመ እኒ ኣዝየብ ኣለውና እዮም ብትግርኛ ኢና ክንጅምሮ ብትግርኛ ኢና ክንጭርሾ ማለት እዩ እዚ ለ ያው መብዛሕትኡ ከም ፓናል ዲስከሽን ኮይኑ ግን ካብ መስመርና ብዙሕ ከይንወፅእ ኻነ እየ ብዙሕ ኢንተረክሽን ኣይገብርኒ ኣነ ግን ክቡራት ኣሕዋትና ኣያታትና ኣዶታትና ኣብ ትግራይ ዘሕለፍዎ ናይ 3 ዓመት ስቃይን ቃልስን መጀመርታ ምስ ብዲፕሎማት ዮሃንስ ባዕል ወኪል ይቐሪሩ ዘሎ ኩልና እውን ባዕልና ኢና ወኪልና ንቐርብ ዘለና እዚኣ ክላወኩም ይደሊ ዲስክሌምበር እያ ኣብዚ ንሳተፍ ሎማዓንተ ዲስከሽን እዚዩ ናይ ድርጅታት ወኪልና ኣይኮነን ንባዕልና መፂና ድምፂ ህዝቢ ትግራይ ኣብ ምንታይ እዩ ናብዚ የምፅኡና ኣብ ምንታይ ኣለና ንቐፃሊ እንታይ ዓይነት ክንሰርሕ ኣለና እዚአን ሰለስተን ክላወኩም ይደሊ ማለት እዩ ካብኡ ዘሎ ናይ ፐርሰናል ስምዒታት ዝኾነ ወዘተ ሆፕፉሊ ኩልና ንፋለጥ ኢና ከም ትወርክዎ ዲፕሎማት ዮሃንስ ናባኻ ክመፅእ ከለኹ መጀመርታ ታንኪዩ እዚ ዕድመ እዚዩ ኣኽቢርካ ንምርካብካ ኣብ ሓፂር ግዜ ኢና ትመልእኽቲ ኣሕሊፍናልካ እናተቐቢልካ ምርካብካ ደስ ብጣዕሚ ክብረት ይሃበና ብመንእሰይ ዳያስፖራ ያው ከምዚ ገርኩም ክትሕወሱ እንተለኹም ኣባና ደስ ይብለና እዩ ከም ኣሕዋትና ዝብልዎ ነበሩ እውን ወለድናስ ኣሕዋትና ወለድና እኳ ብዕድመ እኳ ያው ብዙሕ ኣይተብለና ኒኻ ከም ካሊእ ከይመስል ግን ታንኪዩ ዝሮ እቲ ኤክስፔሪንስ ዘሎ ናሃትኩም ንሕና እንድሕር ንትግራይ ክንቃለስ ኮይና ናብ ቅድሚት እናመፃና ድምፂ ክንከውን ንድሕር ኮይና እቲ ናሃትኩም ኤክስፔሪንስ የድልየና እዩ ከም ተጋሩ እዚ እውን ክላወኩም ይደሊ ስለዚዩ እዚ ለዲፕሎማት ዮሃንስ ትግራይ ናብዚ ዓዘቕቲ እዚ ዝኣተወትሉ ውግእ ኣብ ትግራይ ሓዊ ተወልዐሉ ናይ ዓሌት መንፃፍ ተኣወጀሉ እንታይ ስለ ዝገበርና ኢና ንሕና ተጋሩ
أنا اللي ميكي كلاتكم ون SJT أقدم حزون 5 جنيه دلي حلف 3 عامات دخيمنا خيبركم دعم عبيت صراحتكم سريحكم and I'm very much grateful to see my young brothers and sisters as these حلف 3 عامات 3 عامات دعمي دخيمنا خيبركم سرحوز نوركم صراحتي كم أنا ونز حبنا حزب تجراي ونز حبنا مقانو خجلس إذا المجمرة تجراي نارخيبات توزر لحزنا السلام هواهو أبزدقة دخيمنا خيتها على استسرح سرحون مسارات تجيوز متأصل زخانة بوقت حبوني جباكم أب كل عالم زلوا دياسبورا مالتيمو زمسبالكو 10 دقيقة خوابي توهيب مسلم مثلني ميكي تحطه بدعمي سفيح حطويو ብጣዕሚ ነገሩን ብዙሕ ነገሩን ክለዓለሉ ዝኽእል ሕቶ እዩ ግን ኣብ 3 ነገራት ኣድሂበ ክዛረብ ይደሊ ሎማዓንቲ ብዛዕባ እቲ ኣብ ትግራይና ተወሊዑ ዘሎ ናይ ፅንተት ኩናት ናይ ጆኖሳይድ ኩናት ሲ ምኽንያታቱ መበገስታቱ እንታይ እዮም ነይሮም ወይ ከዓ ንምንታይ ኢና ናብ ዝበፂሕና ኣብ ዝብል ማለት እዩ ብናተይ እምነት ክነተኩር ዝግበአና ንቅድሚት እውን ትፀገም ክንፈትሖ እንተኮይንና ካልኣይ እውን ኣብ ትግራይ ከይድገም እንድሕር ኮይኑ ኣብ ውሽጥና ዘሎ ነገራት ክነፅር ኣለና ዝብል እምነት ኣለና እሞ እቲ ሓንቲ ከልዕላ ዝደሊ እቲ ቀንዲ ተጠቕሊሉ ዋላ እኮ ካልኦት enabling factors ዋላ እንተሃለውዎ እቲ ዝዓበየ ምክንያት ክኸውን ዝኽእል ግን እቲ ናይ ባዕልና ናይ ውሽጢ ምክንያት እዩ ኢለ ዝወስድ ኣነ ኣብ ትግራይን ኣብ ተጋሩን ውሽጢ ዘሎ እቲ ሓደ ምክንያት ንሱ እዩ ንምንታይ ዝብል ድሓር ክመፅእ እየ እታ ካልአይቲ ግዳማዊ ዝኾኑ enabling factors እውን ነይሮም ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ ዝመፀ ለውጢ ዓብይ ምምፅኡ ድሓር ካብ ኤርትራ ዝነበሮም ግራጅሎ ካብ ነዊሕ ግዜ ጀሚሩ ንኣምሓራ ኣብ ልዕሊ ትግራይ ዘልዕልዎ ነገራት ኣለኹም ትፈልጥዎ ነዞም 3 ሓይልታት እዚኣቶም ኣብ ልዕሊ ትግራይ ኢዶም ኣጣሚሮም ንክዘምቱ ሓደ ዝገብሮም ኣጀንዳ ስለ ዝረኸቡ ንሱ እውን ኢነብሊንግ ፋክተር ነይሩ ይወስድ እንታይ እየን ዝብላ ንእሽተይ ንሳተን እውን ሃሰስ ክብል እየ ማለት እዩ ከም ሳልሳይን ክንሓልፎ ዘይግበአና ከዓ ግን ዓለም ለኻዊ ዝኾነ ምኽንያታት ነይሮም enabling factors ነይሮም ካብ ኢትዮጵያ እውን ውፅኢልካ ኣብቲ ከባቢና እውን ዘሎ ከባቢ ምብራቕ ኣፍሪካ ቀርና ኣፍሪካ ካብኡ ውፅኢልካ እውን ኣብ ኣሜሪካ ይኹን ኣብ ካልኦት ከባቢታት ዝነበሩ ኤናብሊንግ ፋክተርስ ኣለዎም እዞን ሰለስተ ነገራት እዚኣተን ከም ምክንያታት ጌርና ክንወስደን ንኽእል እቲ ውሽጣዊ ዝበልክዎ ምክንያት እንታይ እዩ ምናልባት ናብቲ ውሽጣዊ ቅድሚ ምምፅአይ እቶም ኣብ ኣምሓራ ይኹን ኣብይ ኢልና ንልዕሉ ዘለና ቅድሚ ሕዚ እውን ገይሮምዎ እዮም ኣብ ታሪክና ሕዚ እውን ኣብ ዝሓለፈ 2-3 ዓመት ገይሮምዎ ይገብርዎን ኣለዉ ንቅድሚት እውን ዕድል እንድሕር ረኺቦም ኮይኖም ዞም ሰባት እዚኣቶም ክገብርዎ ክቅፅሉ እዮም ስለዚ ንሳቶም ስለ ዝገብርዎ ንሕና ተጎዳእቲ ኢና ንጉዳይና እናበልና ምቁዛም ቁም ነገር ክህልዎ ይኽእልን ኢለ ይወስድ ንሳቶም ዝገብርዎ ነገር ጊብን ጌርና ግን እቲ ዝገብርዎ ነገር ንኣና ብዘይጎዲ መልክዑ ክንጥቀመሉ ምንቲ ክንክእል እንታይ ኢና ክንገብር ዘለና ዝብል ግን ክንወስድ ክንክእል ኣለና ይብል እቲ ሓደ ምናልባት ቅድሚ ሕዚ እውን ዝሃስየና ንቅድሚት እውን ክነስተኻኽሎ ይግበአና ኢለ ዝወስዶም ካብ ታሪክ ምምሃር እዩ ኣብ ታሪክና ድሕሪ ሃፀይ ዮሃንስ ምኒልክ እውን ምምፅኦም ድሓር እውን ብሃይለ ስላሴ ድሓር እውን ብደርጊ ኮንሲስተንትሊ ኣብ ልዕሊ ትግራይ ናይ ትግራይ ሳይኮሎጂ ንኽደቅቕ ናይ ትግራይ ኤሊት ንኽጠፍእ ትግራይ ቅንዕ ንኸይትብል ኮንሲስተንትሊ ዝስርሑ ስራሕቲ ነይሮም ካብኣቶም ስጋዕ ሕዚ ብዝግባእ ተማሂርና ኢና ዝብል እምነት የብለይ ንርስዕ እውን ስለ ዝኾና ንሓድግ እውን ስለ ዝኾና ማለት እዩ ልዕለና ዝመፀ ነገር ዝኩሉ ነገር በፂሕና ዝሓለፈ 2 ዓመትስ ፅንተት ተፈፂሙ ሽማሽም ኣብ ዓለም ዘሎ ብሙሉእ ሽማሽም ተዋሂብናስ ልዕሊ 1 ሚልዮን ህዝቢ ሓሊቁና ሲቪል ዝኾነ ህዝብስ ሕዚ እውን ኢትዮጵያ ሃገርና እየ ዝኣምን ትግራዋይ ኣሎ ትግራዋይ ኤሊት እውን ሓዊሱ ማለት እዩ እዚ ሲሪየስ ዝኾነ ሬኮንሲደሬሽን ዘድልዮ ነገር ኢለ ይወስድ ካብ ታሪክ ክንመሃር ክንክእል ኣለና ምቕያም ኣይኮነን ዝተገበርናዮ ነገር ግን ድሕር እናረሳዕና ከድና ኮይና ሕዚ እውን ንቅድሚት እውን ትበፂሕና ዘሎ ክመፅእ ስለ ዝኽእል ካብ ታሪክ ክንመሃር ክንክእል ኣለና ኣጋጣሚታት ዘይምጥቃምና እውን ካሊእ ኮንትሪቢዩቲንግ ፋክተር እዩ ኢለ ይወስድ 91 ብፈረንጂ ብናህናኻ 83-84 ዝነበረ ኣብቲ እዋን ንሱ ክንወስዶም ዝግብኡና ነገራት ኩሉ ይኽእሉ ነይሮም እዮም ይወስድ ምስ ኤርትራ ብዝነበረና ኤርትራ ኢትዮጵያ ደፊያ ክትመፅእ ከላ 98 ብፈረንጂ ኣብቲ እዋን ንሱ ክንሰርሖም ዝግብኡና ዝነበሩ ነገራት ነይሮም እዮም ኢለ ይወስድ ኣብ ውሽጢ ኢትዮጵያ ንህግደፍ ዝቃወሙ ናይ ኤርትራ ሓይልታት ነይሮም 5 ዝኾኑ ዝተዓጠቑ ሓይልታት ነይሮም ፖለቲካዊ ምንቅስቃሳት ዝገብሩ ነይሮም ንሳቶም ውፅኢታዊ ምግባር ከይገበርናዮም ዝተረፍና ነገራት ኣለዉ ንሳቶም እውን ተንጥቀመሎም ተመገጣምታት ንሳቶም ምናልባት ዝሕዚ በፂሕና ዘሎ ነገር ዋላ እኳ ሙሉ ብሙሉእ እንተዘይትረፍናዮ ሳብስቴንሻል ግን ክንቅንሶ ንኽእል ነርና ኢና ዝብል እምነት ኣለኒ ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ ዝፈጠርናዮ ስርዓት ብሕታዊ ዋሕስና ጌርና ምውሳድ እውን ዋሕስ ጌርካ ምውሳድ እውን ሓደ ዓብይ ፀገም ኢሉ ነይረ ይወስድ ኣነ ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ ፌደራላዊ ስርዓት ፈጢርና ቅድሚ ሕዚ ዘይፍለጡ ዝነበሩ ኣካላት ናብቲ ፒክቸር ንክመፁ ተገይሩ ኢትዮጵያ ኢኮኖሚ ካብ ትግራይ ንላዕሊ ፍትኻሊ ከባቢታት ዝመፀ ኢኮኖሚ ይሐሽ ዝተፈጠረ ሃዋህው እውን ከምኡ ንሱ ከም ዋሕስ ጌርና ኦንሊ ጋራንቲ ጌርና ግን ወሲድናዮ ነርና ዝብል እምነት ኣለኒ ኣብ ትግራይና ክመፅእ ዝኽእል ነገር ብምክልኻል ዓይኒ ማለት እዩ ንሱ እውን ንቅድሚት ክነስተኻኽሎ ዝግበአና ሓደ ነገር እዩ ናይ ውሽጣዊ ፀገምና ኢለ ዝወስዶ እቲ ካሊእ ንፀላእትና ብልክዖም ንፈልጦም ነርና ወይ ከዓ ብልክዖም ንግምግሞም ነርና ዝብል እምነት እውን የብለይ ብፍላይ ሪሰንትሊ እናተቐበልክዎ ዝመፃኹ ሓቂ ማለት እዩ ዓቐኑ ዝሓለፎ ዓርሰ እምነት እውን ነይሩና ደርጊ ድሕሪ ምውዳቑ 27 ዓመት ሙሉ መርዚ እናተነዝሐ ነይሩ ኣብ ልዕሊ ተጋሩ ልዕሊ ትግራይ ከም ዝትፈልጥዎ ንኡ ግን እቲ ዝተለመደ መልሲ ንህቦ ዝነበርና ኣበይ ከይበፅሑ ዝብል እዩ ነይሩ ባዕለይ እውን ካሊእ እውን ማለት እዩ ንሱ ኮንትሪቢዩት ገይሩ እዩ ኣብኡ ስራሕተን ንሰርሕ ነርና ንዑ ዲፈንድ ክንገብርተን ንኽእል ነርና ዝተወሰነ መልክዑ ዝሕዚ በፂሑ ዘሎ ክቕንስ ይኽእል ነይሩ እዩ ዝብል እምነት ኣለኒ ካብ ውሽጥና ክንብገስ ስለ ዘለና እቲ ዓብዪ ነገር ከዓ ግን ውሽጣዊ ጎነፅና እዩ ኣብ ውሽጢ ጎነፅ ኣብ ኤሊት ብፍላይ ዝፍጠር ጎነፅ ኣብ ትግራይ ኩሉ ግዜ ፀላእትና እውን ድኽመትና ዝርዩሉ ፀላእትና እውን ዘጥቅዑና ኣብ ውሽጥና ብዝፍጠር ጎነፅ እዩ ድሕሪ ሃፀይ ዮሃንስ ኣብ መሳፍንቲ ትግራይ ዝተፈጠረ ንፈልጦ ኢና ኣብ ሕወሓት ምክፍፋል 93 ብግእዝ ኣቆፃፅራ ዝነበረ ንፈልጦ ኢና ብድሕሪኡ ዝመፀ ነገር ድሓር ኣብ ኣጋ ይወደግ ክወድቕ እውን ኣብ ኤሊት ተፈጢሩ ዝነበረ ነገር ንፈልጦ ኢና እዞም ኩሎም እዚኣቶም ከም ፀላእትና እቲ ድኹም ጎንና ሪኦም ኣብ ልዕሊ ትግራይ ዘይዛሪ ፅንተት ንክፍፅሙ ኮንትሪቢዩት ገይሩ እዩ ዝብል እምነት ኣለኒ ካብ ውሽጥና ሕዚ እውን ክንብገስ ስለ ዘለና ካሊእ ኢነብሊንግ ፋክተር ኣይነበረን ይኮን ዝብል ዘለኹ እቲ ካሊእ ግዕዚና እዩ ንህዝቢ ምርሳዕ እሱን ድሕር ዘይስተኻኺልና ኮይንና ንቅድሚ ሕዚ ህዝብና ኣብ ፀገም ክንእትዎ ኢና ዝብል እምነት ኣለኒ ብናተይ እምነት ይህወደግ ካብ ዘፍረስዎ ዓበይቲ ምክንያታት እቲ ሓደ እቲ ግዕዝይና እዩ ኣብ ውሽጢ ኢህወደግ ሰፊኑ ዝነበረ ግዕዝይና በዓልና እውን ካሊእ እውን ዝነበሮ ግዕዝይና ማለት እዩ እቲ ግዕዝይና ንሱ ሕዚ እውን እንድሕር ዘየልጊስናዮ ኮይንና ኣብ ልዕሊ ትግራይና ዝበፅሕ ነገር ክቐፅል እዩ ዝብል እምነት ኣለኒ እቲ ውሽጣዊ ምክንያት ካልእ ዝብሎ እዚ እዩ ካሊእ ግን እቲ ፍሌክሲብል ዘይምዃኑ እውን ፀገም ዘሎ ይመስለኒ ኣብ ትግራይና ምናልባት እዚ ሪሰርች ክግበር ክኽእል ኣለዎ ፍሌክሲብል ኢናፍ ግን ኣይኮንናን ኣብ ትግራይ when it comes to politics ብፍላይ ኣይኮንናን ስጋዕ ሕዚ ምዕራባውያን ሙሉ ብሙሉ ንኣና ዘይገልፀና ነገር ሌፍቲስት እዮም እናተባሃልና ክንጥርጠር ዓበይቲ ኦፊሳት ምዕራብ ዘልዕልዎ ነገራት ዘሎ ብሓደ ገፅ ንሕና እውን ክንድቲ ዝግባእ ክነረድእ ብዘይምኽኣልና በቲ ሓደ ገፅ ከዓ ግን ፍሌክሲብል እውን ብዘይምዃንና ዝመፅእ ነገር ስለ ዝኾነ ኣፍታ ውሽጣዊ ንግዜ ምእንቲ ክጥቀም ዘን ነገራት እዚኣተን ከልዕል ዘን ነገራት እዚኣተን እንድሕር ርኢናየን ኮይንና ሙሉ ብሙሉ ዋላ ተዘይልገሰልና ሳብስቴንሻሊ ግን ፀገማትና ክቅንሰልና ይኽእል እዩ ዝብል እምነት ኣለኒ እቲ ካልኣይ ዓብዪ ምክንያት ኢለ ዝወስዶ ግን ግዳማዊ ዝኾኑ ምክንያታት እዮም እቶም ግዳማዊ ዝኾኑ በቲ ሓደ ገፅ ትግራይን ተጋሩን ትርጉም ናብ ዘይብሉ ብርኪ ምውራድ እዩ ዝብል ናይ ኣምሓራ ናይ ኤርትራን ቅዋም ድሓር ከዓ ንዚ ተጠቒሙ ናይ ፖለቲካ ባይቱ ንምምችቻው ዝተጠቐመሉ እቲ ሕዚ ኣብ ስልጣን ዘሎ መራሒ ማለት እዩ ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ እዞም ኣካላት እዚኦም ብሓደ ገፅ በቲ ሓደ ገፅ ከዓ ናብ ደገ ክንወፅእ እንተለና ካብቲ ከባቢና ውፂኢልና ምእዙዝ ዝኾነ ስርዓት ኣብቲ ሃገር ንክህሉ ምድላይ ኣሎ ይደልዩውን ነይሮም ንቅድሚት እውን ከምኡ ስለ ዝድለ ማለት እዩ ዝፀሓይ ዝወቕዕ ሓቂ ፐብሊክ ስለዝኾነ ክንዛረበሉ ንኽእል ኢና ማለት እዩ ኣብይ ኣምሓራን ኤርትራን ንክልቲኦም ንሰለስቲኦም ሓደ ዝገበርዎም ነገራት ኣሎ ናይ ኣብይ ከምቲ ትፈልጥዎ ካብ ወንበሩ ጥራሕ ዓባይ ነገሩ ነው ነታ ወንበሩ ካብ ሶማሊ ጀሚሩ መጀመርያ ቅድሚ ናባና ምምፅኡ ድሓር ኣብ ኩለን ክልላት መራሕቲ ቀይሩ ኣብ ትግራይ ክመፅእ እንተሎ ዕንቅፋት ተፈጢርዎ እቲ ዕንቅፋት ንሳ ንኸልግስ ምስ ዝኾነ ኣካል ክሰምር ክኽእል ነይርዎ ነዛ ኣጋጣሚ እዚኣ ከዓ መን ተጠቒሙ ኣምሓራ ክለይም ኣለዎም ከምቲ ትፈልጥዎ ንሳቶም ኣብ ኩሉ እዮም ክለይም ዝገብሩ ኣብ ትግራይ ጥራይ ኣይኮነን ብታሪክ ተታሒዙ ዝመፀ እውን ኣሎ ናይ ኤርትራ ከዓ ብፍላይ ኣብ 98 ስዒርናዮም ሰዓት ጥራይ እንተይኮነስ ኣሊኔትድ ተገይሮም ነይሮም ኣብ ኣፍሪካ ምናልባት መጀመርያ ግዜ እዩ ሕብረት ኣፍሪካ ኣብ ናይ ባዕሉ ሜምበር ስቴት ማዕቀብ ዘውረደላ ዓዲ ኤርትራ እያ ንሳ እውን ብናህና ድፊት ዝመፀ ነገር ስለ ዝኾነ እዚ ሕርቃን እዚ ነይርዎም ንቅድሚት እውን ናይ ኢሳያስ ኤጎ ኣሎ ምስሳት ተደማሚሩ እዞም ሰለስተ ኣካላት እዚኣቶም ተጃሚሎም ፖለቲካዊ ትግራይ ናይ ፖለቲካ ኤሊት ከይህልዋ ትግራይ ኢኮኖሚካሊ ልምስቲ ንክትከውን ብማሕበራዊ ድሁል ዝኾነ ዲስካርድድ ዝኾነ ማሕበረሰብ ትግራይ ንክፍጠር ብስነ ልቦና እውን ዝደኸመ ዝተሃሰየ ኣብ ታሪክ እውን እንድሕር መፅኡ ኮይኑ ንሳቶም ናትና እዩ ዝብልዎ ታሪክ ትግራይ ክሌም ንኸይገብር ንመወዳእታ ግዜ ከልሙሱ ኢሎም ዝተበገሱሉ እዩ ነይሩ ማለት እዩ እቲ በገስ እሱ ግን እንታይ ኣጠናኺርዎ ኣብ ውሽጥና ዝነበረ ተቐዲምና ክንገብሮ ዝግበአና ነገር ዘይምግባርና እዚ ናታቶም ሽርሒ ኣብ ተግባር ንክውዕል ሓጋዚ ኮይንዎም ማለት እዩ እሞ እቲ ካልኣይን ዓብዪ ነገርን እዚ ኢለ እየ ዝወስድ ከም ሳልሳይት ናይ ደገ ሓይልታት ዝበልናዮ እቲ ሓደ ከም ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ ጥራሕ ኣይኮነን ኣብ መብዛሕትኡ ኣብ ኣፍሪካ ኣብዘን ስሉስ ዓለም እንብለን ኩለን ከባቢታት ናብ ታሪክ ምእታዊ የድልየንን ናይ ብሪትን ውድስ ፕሪስክሪፕሽንስ ኣለዉ ከምቲ ትፈልጥዎ ናብ ኢኮኖሚ ክንመፅእ እንተለና ምስ ዲሞክራሲ ዝተሓሓዙ ነገራት ኣለዉ ንሳቶም ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ እውን ኣብ ካልኦት ከባቢታት እውን ንኽትግበሩ ብዙሕ ድፍኢታት እዩ ነይሩ እቲ ድፍኢታት ንሱ ናብ ትግራይ ክመፅእ እንተሎ ፈርሚ ዝኾነ ፖዚሽን እዩ ነይሩ ብፍላይ ኣብ ስጋዕ 2012 ዝነበረ ብግእዝ ኣቆፃፅራ ማለት እዩ 2018 ከባቢ ዝነበረ ብድሕሪኡ ከምቲ ዝረኸምዎ ለምዘለም ነይሩ ግን ቅድሚኡ ፈርሚ ዝኾነ ፖዚሽን እዩ ነይሩ እቲ ፖዚሽን ንሱ ብዙሕ ኣይምችዎም ነይሩ ነቶም ምዕራባውያን ዝለክወስድ ይኽእል እየ ስለዚ ዝኾነ ኣጋጣሚታት እናተፀበዩ ነይሮም እዞም ሰባት እዚኣቶም ዘጋጣሚ ምስ መፀሎም ከዓ ሓገዝቲ ክኾኑ ክኢሎም ማለት እዮም ኣውሮፓ ኣብቲ ከባባኖም ስለ ዝነበርኩ ምስ ስደተኛታት ዝተተሓሓዘ ኣጀንዳ ብጣዕሚ ዓብዪ ኣጀንዳ እዩ ኣብ ኣውሮፓ ዓብዪ ናይ ፖለቲካል ኣፕሂባል ዝፈጠረ እዩ ነይሩ ምስ ማይግራንት ዝተተሓሓዘ ነገር ካብቶም ቀንዲ ናይ ኔት ኤክስፖርተርስ ናይ ስደተኛታት ተባሂሎም ዝቁፀሩ ከዓ ኤርትራ ሓንቲ እያ ነይራ ካብተን ኣብ ሰለስተ ዝነበራ ሰለስተ ቶፕ ኔት ማይግሬት ዝገብራ ሃገራት ኤርትራ ሓንቲ እያ ነይራ ናብ ኣውሮፓ ማለት እዩ እዚ ትሬንድ እዚ ኤክሶደስ እዚ ጠጠው ንኽብል ኣብ ኤርትራ ዝኾነ ነገር ንክገብሩ ይደልዩ ነይሮም ኣውሮፓውያን ኣብቲ እዋን ንሱ 20 ዓመት ሓዲግናዮም ሪንጌጅ ክንገብር ኣለና ዝብል ድፊታት ነይሩ ኣብይ መፅዩ ሰላም ኣውሪደ ኣለኹም ዝበሎም ንኣታቶም ደስታና ምላሽ ይኮይኑሎም ማለት እዩ ቀልጢፎም ንክሕግዙ ቀልጢፎም ናብቲ ናቱ ኣጀንዳ ንክኣቱ ኢኔብል ገይሩሎም ማለት እዩ ናይ ትግራይ እውን ነልዕሎ ዝነበርና ነገራት ክንድቲ ዝግባእ ንኸይሕዝዎ ገይርዎም ኣብ ኣሜሪካ for obvious reasons ናይ ትራምፕ administration ኢኔብለር እዩ ነይሩ መጀመርያ ከባቢ ኣብ ፐብሊክ ሚድያ ይኹን ኣብ ዲፕሎማሲ ይኹን ናይ ፋይናንሻል ሓገዝ ይኹን ኢኔብለር ነይሩ መወዳእታ ድሓር ናይ ባይደን ኣድሚኒስትሬሽን ዝገበሮም ዓበይቲ ምስተኻኻላት ነይሮም ንሳቶም ሪኮግናይዝ ምግባር ከድልየና እዩ ማለት እዩ እቲ ካሊእ ንምዕራባውያን ዝሕስቦም ዝነበረ ምትእትታው ናይ ቻይና ናብ ኣፍሪካ እዩ ኢትዮጵያ ከም ጌትዌይ ተገይራ ትውሰድ ነይራ ጌትዌይ ብብዙሓት መልክዓት ኢኮኖሚ ሰክሰስ ነይሩ ሰክሰስ ስቶሪስ ነይሮም ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ ምስቲ ዝነበረ ብጣዕሚ ዲተርሚን ዝኾነ ኣሰራርሓ ናይ ኢኮኖሚ ማለት እዩ ብትግራይ ፕሮፑር ዝኾነ ካይዳ እቲ ዝቡና ዝነበሩ ሓገዛት ናብ ጭቡጥ ዝኾነ ለውጥታት ይቕየር ስለ ዝነበረ ንሱ ናብ ዝተረፈ ናይ ኣፍሪካ ዓድታት ናይ ምስፋሕ ትረንድ እውን ስለ ዝነበረ እዞም ምዕራባውያን ዩሮፕ ከልዎም ኣሜሪካ ናይ ቻይና ብኢትዮጵያ ኣቢሎም ናብቲ ካልእ ከባቢታት ምስፋሕ ከም ዓብዪ ሓደጋ ይርእይዎ ነይሮም ስለዚ እቲ ትረንድ ንሱ ንክቆርሱ ዝኾነ ኣጋጣሚታት ይፅበዩ ነይሮም ኣብይ መፂሎም ንኡ ከዓ ንክሕግዙ ኣፍ ደገ ከፊትሎም ማለት እዩ ኢማራት ናይ ዩናይትድ ኣረብ ኤሚሬትስ ኣብቲ ከባቢ ቀይሕ ባሕሪ ፅልዋ ንክህልዋ ቅድሚ ዝተወሰኑ ዓመታት ኣትሒዛ ምንቅስቃሳት ትገብር ነይራ ኣብ ጅቡቲ ተጀሚሩ ናብ ኤርትራ ከባቢ ቢላ ኣብ ሶማልያ ትገብሮም ነገራት ነይሮም እዞም ኩሎም ነገራት እዚኣቶም ቀይሕ ባሕሪ ናይ ወደብ ምጥቃም ጥራይ እንተይኮነ ዲፒ ወርልድ ዝበሃሉ ከምቲ ትፈልጥዎ ዓብዪ ዝኾነ ናይ ፖርት ኣድሚኒስትሬሽን ብኡ ቢሎም ኣብ መሬት እውን ግን ምስ ዝሕረስ ባይታ ተተሓሒዙ ዝገብርዎ ምንቅስቃሳት ነይሩ ኣብዚ ምንቅስቃሳት እዚ ክውን ዝኾነ ብቅርሺ ክግዛእ ዝኽእል ኣካል እናኣለሹ እዮም ነይሮም ኣብቲ ከባቢታት ፅቡቅ ዝኾነ ካንዲዴት ከዓ መፂሎም ማለት እዩ ኣብይ ንኡ ንክሕግዙ ከዓ ባይታ ፈጢሩሎም ትነገር ንሱ ኣብ ሶማልያ ፋርማጆ መፂ ከምቲ ትዝክርዎ ፋርማጆ ንኸይምረፅ ኢትዮጵያ ዓብዪ ፃዕርያ ገይራ ነይራ ቅድሚ ምምራፁ ተዓደ ተቐናቓኒ ዝነበረ ንክመፅእ ይድለ ነይሩ ኣይኮነን ንሱ ስለዚ እዛ ቂም እዚኣ ኣብ ስኑ ቀርቂርዋ ነይሩ ማለት እዩ ንሱ እውን ብድሕሪኡ ካብ ሶማልያውያን ዝለዓል ኣሎ ከምቲ ትዝክርዎ እቲ ኢስላሚክ ካውንስል ልዕሊ ኢትዮጵያ ጅሃድ ኣውጁ ስለ ዝነበረ ከባቢ 2005 ሰራዊት ኢትዮጵያ ናብ ሶማልያ ኣትዩ ነይሩ ቶም ኤሊት ብውታት ሕጉሳት ኣይነበሩን እዚኣ እውን ደሚሮም ኣብ ልዕሊ መሪሕነት ናይ ኢትዮጵያ በትናታት መፅዋዕዋ ትግራይ ዝኾነ ዓይነት ግራጅ ስለ ዝነበሮም ንሳን በቐል ንኽዋፅኡ ይፍትኑ ነይሮም ፅቡቅ ኣጋጣሚ ተፈጢሩሎም ማለት እዩ እሞ ንሱ ኢነብለር ኮይኑ እታ ናይ መወዳእታ ክልዕላ ዝደሊ ቱርኪ ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ ኣጀንዳ ነይሩዋ እቶም ሓገዝቲ ዝነበሩ ዓበይቲ ሓገዝቲ ፍቲ ኩናት ንሳ እውን ሓንቲ ስለ ዝኾነት ክልተ ነገራት እዮም ነይሮሞም ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ እቶም ክልተ ነገራት ሓደ እንታይ እዩ ሓደ ዓብዪ ተቃዋሚ ኣሎ ናይ ቱርኪ መንግስቲ ተቃዋሚ ኣብዚ ከባቢና ዝርከብ ናይ ፋቱላ ጉለን ዝበሃል ምንቅስቃስ ንሱ ከም ዓብዪ ሓደጋ ተገይሩ እዩ ዝቁፀር ኣብ ኣንካራ በኣታቶም ዝውነኑ ብርክት ዝበሉ ናይ ቢዝነስ ምንቅስቃሳት ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ ነይሮም ነቶም ቢዝነሳት ንሳቶም ናብ ቱርክ መንግስቲ ንክምለሱ ዓብዪ ፀቕጢ እናተገበረ ነይሩ ስጋዕ ዝሰብኣይ ዝመፀብ ኢትዮጵያ ኣይኸውንን እዚ ምስ ቢዝነስ ኢና ንሰርሕ ዘለና ዝብል ፈርሚ ዝኾነ ቅዋሚ ነይሩ ኢትዮጵያ ድሓር እዚ ምስ መፀ ግን ተቕሊለ ክበኩም የፀገም የብሉን ኢልዎም ንዝነኣታቶም ዓብዪ ዜና እዩ ነይሩ ዘይተፀበይዎ ብውልክዕ እውን ከፋፊትካ መሃብ ዝበሃል ነገር ዘይተፀበይዎ ስለ ዝነበረ ማለት እዩ ንሱ ሓደ ነገር ፈጢሩሎም ካልኣይ ከዓ ግን ምስ ቅርሺ ዝተተሓሓዘ ቢዝነስ እዩ ካብ እኒ ኢማራት ዝርከብ ቅርሺ ነትሳቶም ዘምርትዎ ድሮን ዘሎ ግዛዕ ቅርሺ የቕርበሎም ስለ ዝነበረ ብውልክዕ ንሳቶም እውን ሓገዝቲ ኮይኖም እዞም ነገራት እዚኦም ደሚርና ክንሪኦም እንተለና ዝኸቅርብ እንተሎ ከም ዝበልናዮም ኣም ባይንዲንግ ማይሰልፍ ን10 ደቂቓ እሞ ተንዕቢዕቢ ዝበላ ነገራት ምልዓል ኢለ እሞ ኣብ ትግራይና ዝመፀ ብኣውሩ ክንዘራረበሉ ዘለና መፍትሒ እውን ክንገብረሉ ዝግበአና ኣብ ውሽጥና ዘሎ ናይ ውሽጢ ኩነታት ይኸውን ዘለዎ ብውልክዕ ከዓ ግን ተብደገ ዘሎ ኣብ ደገ ዘሎ ዝኾነ እንተኾነ ኣብ ውሽጥና እንድሕር ጠንኪርና ኮይንና ንኡ ክንብድሆ ንኽእል ኢና እንድሕር ዘይኮይኑ ግን ኩሉ ግዜ እናጥቅዕና ስለ ዝኸድ እሱ እውን ክለዓል ስለ ዘለዎ ኢለ እሞ ኣብ ፀጠው ከብል ድሓር ክምለስ እየ ታንኪ ቨሪ ማች ሚኪ
يغني لنا بتعمي دبلومات يوهانس بدم بيجركا سلا زغلس كايو حد إلكا تقند زوال كايو سرسعتين إلكا تخكلي رسعت سلا زخونا حيزو وندا غاقيمنا سومايات زلوكم قديت أيو نتي حدش ولدو أو قلنا تطويلكم نختم هرونا نحنا قانا يأتي رسع إذن نوري كولتشرنا أدفينا نقد سألي تعالى سنكون أدلاين نسل زلو وينا زيلي قد سألي من لسكا أيس إنحلنا نشتي حيزي ناب أتا مسفن أينا خدن كلهو انداغتامي ياو أتا مسفن أفت بايتاون بحادة بزح عريسنا إنا بزحادة في مجمع عامة الفرعان كنت عامة زنوري تداسبرا سبط واصل غير نيرو حيزي ناتا حالة خيدو وزتهينا لكن أنا ذكرنا بأي حيزي تقندس تግራይ تقبر صنفت ناي تغارون تقبر عنوت ناي تكالات تግራይን دقاقيمو يزربيو ግን سناتي حتون تأيو أتمسفن إذا نقرز يو كم تغارو أب داسبرا زلنان أو عد زلون تنابيبنا بدن بغيرنا تصفص أتتحيزوه خمئينات كاريتو نيهنا دي المخان خبصر نتي زمس جنريشن تمرتن نتي جينوسايد زفصم أكاد مسرجان كن حزن دحر كوينا خم تغارو اتي خلطة إذنين تقندي تهزوي سنتت كم تغارو نخن تسألنا تغورنا لعلم مليون هزوي خم تقاتلي دقاق ميزربا أسرقنا يفلتن العلميتن إسران شيخ دقنسيو خم تدفرا يزربيو أسرقنا يفلتن ازيو كما إيا خاطريو خم تغارو كما إنا كنسرح له زلنا إلكا تجمد أبزيو عسرت أزخولنا هبنا كذلنا جن حدا بانل سلسلة حصرنا الدبلومات يوهان سوون زي عرس قوانا يتسرقوا في يمنا دحان كعسرت دقيقة حلفت لكمس ناي حدا person less لزخولنا أو more time يوقم له ينا يغني لي أتمسون.
Thank you يغني لي ميكي عنتو دقاقي مزرر حدا نقر نيرو أبيت حواتنا وبوتاتنا ياتنا زلمو يوهانس ونعو حاوش كاينيركا يوهانس is much younger هذا رجالي قبرنا عاي مساين حرت حاوش وينو أنا دحاني وطاط اللي خوخ لي نسور ما unfortunately خبروا إيه سلزي كابتم مناسيات really بتو زلوا سرحتنا دبلومات سرحت راي ونتكونا أب insightful زخنا ناي political analysis خلت زلوا حاولنا ونيو نشتيو ويخرع كايو من سيو أنا I must say ذن سلست عمت briefly حزي قرابة جزء أي تراخونا نخوه نزح حلفة سلست عمت I'm proud to be part of what we have done. I've admired him as always. هلا بتعمي قفح زبالة نجارس بصبق صوبة بيلو he will not you I think general تاسمون وسرنا خلينا حوس هلا نجارت ليا أبتن إليت كولت له حق أيو إليت بلون مخناتهم حدا إليت كنولت لنا أما راح أتراجع ناس للنصتا fundamental ناي أما راح ناي رحنا شجرات نيرو منايو كابتمو زيو سيحمنا نولو قدلتاتون ناي مرحنا قدلتاتيهم جن equally in fact حدا شاع 50% خون تي خالق أكل مرحنا زي التجراي أكل تمهر زبال فذلاس 3 عامات until ذا هذيك عاش شعت مزه زنورو رول by and large enabler ينير for 2 reasons عدا مساتهم يقولوا ولا يوم تم راح تلو يوم انتاي كم تقولي فلت يعملوا معنا يبعلوا responsibility abrogates قبرلو تخالق تتزاروكو تسرحكو زي تقاقيكم تولكوم كخور يوم كرحقون يوم خالوتون قوانات كقورن يوم خيخولي كاوزو الفرحيز قبرلو بالجنرال اللي خلتي أن serious failure ناتناو نايتو مهور بتعامل serious failure ينيرو if we had spoken
not just soil ካብ ምዝራብ ምክንያቱም ግለሰባት ይዛረቡ ነይሮም እዮም but organized ብዝኾነ መንገዲ pressure ብዝፈጥር መንገዲ ዘይምግባርና ሓደ ካብቱ ናብ ደረጃ ብፅሕና ዘሎ ዘብፅሕና ምክንያታት ሓደ እዩ ኢላ ኣምን ስለዚ ትክክል ኩለን ባላ ኣብ ከምቲ ኢሊት ውን ከምቲ ሊደርሺፕ ውን ኢልና ንብሎ generally to elite fail ገይሩ እዩ fail ገይሩ ንባዕሉ ጥራይ እንተይኮነ ንህዝቡ ንዓዱ fail ገይሩ ዋይ ኣነ ኣብተን ተገብራ ገበናት ዳታታት ከበሎ by the way ናይ ትግራይ human rights commission I have to give them credit በጣም important ስራሕ ይሰርሑ በጣም limitation ኣለዎም ዶ yes ሓደ ገፊሕ ቦታታት ኣብ ትሕቲ ቁጥጥር ፀላይ ዘሎ so to ኤሪያታት ዝግበር ዘሎ ኩነታት ክፈልጦ ይኽእሉን ክረኽቦ ይኽእሉን access የብሎም በተን ዘለዋ ቦታታት መብዛሕቱ ቦታታት substantial ዝኾነ ዳታ ኮሌክት ገይሮም እዮም sometime in April May April ዝነበረ ጊዜ ዳርጋ 800,000 ሰብ ኢንተርቪው ገይሮም እዮም ስለዚ substantial data እዚ ዳታውን by the way ተቆይሉ ኣብ ትግራይ ጥራይ ተቐሚጦ ይኮነን in fact ኣብ ትግራይ ምህላው ሓደጋውን ክኸውን ስለ ዝኽእል ተባሂሉ ኣብ ደገውን ተቐሚጡ እዩ GSTS is one of the role እዚ ዓብይ ተራ ዘለዎ ሳልሳይ ነቶም ዝምልከቶም ኣካላት እዚ ኢንፎርሜሽን እዚ ተዋሂቡ እዩ ንኢክሪስ ኮነስ ንዩኤንስ ኮነስ ተዋሃበ ኢንፎርሜሽን ዘሎ እዩ so data ክንዱቲ ዝኣክል ኣለና ዶ ናይ ባዕሉ ሽግራት ኣሎ ንኣብነት ክነግረኩም ደቂ ኣንስትዮ ተደፈራ ደቂ ኣንስትዮ ቁፅሪ ኤግዛክት ነምበር ንምውፃእ ካብቱ ዓብይ ዘሸገሮም ሓደ ሶሻል ስቲግማ እዩ ሕብረተሰብና ከይድካ ኣብዚ ዘላ ጓልኩም ከምዚ ኮይና ኣላ ዶ እንተልካዮ ዋላ ኮይና እንሃለወት ሓዳር ከይትገብር ድያ ሕብረተሰብ እንታይ ስሙ ገብራ ድያ ካብ ዝብል ኢንፎርሜሽን ኮምፕሊትሊ ዘይህቡ ይህብ ደቂ ኣንስትዮ by the way ናብ ሕክምና ዘይከዳ ደቂ ኣንስትዮ ኣለዋ because ናብ ሕክምና ከዳ እንተለዋ በዚ ምክንያት ስቲግማታይዝ ከይግበር ስለዚ ሓደን ካብቲ ዓብይ ክስራሕሉ ዘለዎ I'm hoping later on after 9 ታይስሙ ናይ mental health ክንዛረብ ተለና ውን some of it address ክግበር ተስፋ ገብር or in future ክስራሕሉ ዘለዎ ዓብይ ኣብዚ ሶሻል ስቲግማ ዝግበር ስራሕ እዩ ሕብረተሰብና ከም ዓዲ ዋላ by the way even ቶም ኣካለ ጉድኣትና ሕዝብ ዘሎ ኢሞሽን ዘመካለ ጉድኣትና ገለ ይብሎ መለምበር ኣብ ጽርግያታት ብዝኸዱሉ ግዜ ዝዓዋር ዝዕውር ዝሓንካስ ዝሰንካል ዝቆራጽ እናተባሃለ ይባሃል ፕሮፌሰር ኪሮስ ብርሃነ ሓደ ኪሮስ ገበረኒ ነገር ስለነዮን ኣብ ፕሮግራም ውን ክንሰርሐሉ እንደሊ ስለዝኾነ ኣብ ቅድሚት I asked him the correlation between handicap and poverty. ዝገርም ነገር እዩ 80% not just of Tigray but everywhere 80% አካለ ጉዳት at the end of the day ultimately they become part of the general poverty stricken population. ስለዚህ ዞም ኣሕዋትና ብሕዚ ጌርካ እንተ ዘይሓቂብካዮ من بعد السوشيالي بعلتنا وحبرتسبنا أكله كدو مخان مالت سوشيالي productive حبرتسبنا productive member نات حبرتسب كتكون يتخلل مالت زي مخانو بدم بندحر زي سريقنا زي تسريح له حزو انت خونا I think no matter what we نقديو حمام ناس لازخونا لنا نحجز كنتحاور نخلي خونا long term قن to social stigma يخمنا سالو زين كابلكو زي داتا تات collect يقبرلو يقبل أخلدو يكون أخلدو I'm always going to say it's never enough أخل information crack كن حدا نجر أبتي motive night علاتي أنا كابس بسحوز أنت حدا عميم كوزم كم تخال كوينات غيركا collateral damage سيكون أنت كذا غيره ما بتقرأ ኣጋጣሚ ኮይንኮነ ኣይኮነን ፋብሪካታት ናይ ትግራይ ቦምብ ተገይረን ኦር ተቃፂለን ባይ ዲዛይን ንሎንግ ተርም ንነዊሕ እንተተኻኢሉ ንዘለዓለም ህዝቢ ትግራይ ካብ ዘለዎ ኩነታት ክንሰራሩ ኣብ ዘይኽእለሉ ደረጃ ምብፃሕ was the ultimate goal. That's why it's designed you. Criminally you. Genocidally na niblalu zalana ምክንያቱ ሙስሊም ሶንት አቤቤ ፎከስ ገረም ትሪ ወንተለሁ as an individual by the way ኣብ ትግራይ ዝኸርኩም በሪሰንትሊ ዝረኹም ወንተለሁ individual ገዛውቲ individual ሆቴላት እንደበግዛት አይተንከፉል by the way by and large አቤን ፎከስ ገረም ምክንያቱም ዘን ቢዝነስስ ብዘይካ ምሁር ዘን ቢዝነስስ ብዘይካ ተምሃረ ሓይል ዘን ቢዝነስስ ብዘይካ ናይ ሕብረተሰብ ካፓሲቲ ንክትቀመለን ምንም ጥቅሚ የለን አቤ ፎከስ ገረም ተንዋና ዓበይቲ ዝልወን ፋብሪካታት ብጠቅላላ ብዘይ except one by the way ኩለን ዳርጋ አጥፊያም ሆነ ኩለን አቤ ፎከስ ገረም ኣብ ትምህርት ቤት ትምህርት ቤታት ከትፉ እንተለው ኣብ ትምህርት ቤታት ውሽጥ ዘለዋ ንብረት ሓቢሮም አጥፊያም ምክንያቱም ትምህርቲ እንድሕር ተማሂሩ እዩ ሰብ ናብ ዝለዓለ ብርክ ክበጽሕ እንደገና ሪሃቢሊቴት ንምግባር ከይኽእል as much damage as possible ክህሉ ይተገይሩ ንኣብነት ሓረስቶት ትኸደሉ ማለት it wasn't random እንታይ ስሙ ይነበረ ዝነበረ እኽሊ ድሕሪ ሕዚ እቲ ኢኮሲስተም ከም ዝጠፍእ ምግባር እዩ ኣብ ብዙሕ ቦታታት ሓንቲ ቦታ እኳ ጥራይ ኣብ ሽረ ዳርጋ 250 ሄክታር completely ጠፊኡ ተቃፂሉ completely እዚ in the background ተሪናዮ ቀደም ትግራይ ካፍተን ኣብ rehabilitation ኣብ environmental rehabilitation ዓብይ ተራ ነይሩዋስ ናይ ሪዮ አዋርድ ናይ ጂክለርክ ዝበሃል አዋርድ ማዓት እንታይ ስሙ ዝተረኽበሉ ዓብይ ዓወታት ተረኽበሉ ኤሪያታት እዮም ነይሮም እዚኣቶም ነዚኣቶም እዮም ዳርጋ ዲስትሮይ ገይሮም ዓበይቲ ሕርሻታት እዮም ኣጥፊዮም ዓበይቲ ዝበሃላ ሪኢኹም እንትኾኑ ፓፓያ ከም ዝኾይኑ ትኾኑ ዝበሃል ተላ ፓፓያ ተንሩ ፍረታት ኣይኮነን ኣቋፂላ ካብ ሱረን ከም ዝቐፃለት ከምዚ ንኻልኣይ ግዜ ከምዚ ይኾና ገይረዎ so it's highly organized highly designed ዝኾነ long term በነዊሕ ግዜ ናብቲ ዝነበርካዮ እኳ ክትመልስ ዘይትኽእለሉ ኩነታት ክንበፅሕ እዮም ክፈቲኖ in fact ሓደ ግሬሲንግ ፓርት ዋላ ፕሪቶሪያ አግሪመንት ንብሎ ኣለና to some extent ኩናት ጠጠው ንምባሉ ሓደ ግሬሲንግ እንታይ ስሙ is to at least ካብቲ ኩሉ ሰራዊት ዝሞተ ደቅና ሓዋትና ኣቦታትና ወዳትና ዝኩሉ ሰራዊት ሬዚስት ገይሩ ዘግበራ ነገር ካብዚ ሕዚ ላዕሊ ክገብርዎ ዲዛይን ገይሮም ላዕሊ ክገብሩ ዘይምኻሉ ንዑ ጠጠው ምባል ምኻሊ ንዓም ጠጠው ቢላ እሳ እያ ድሕናትና ታ ሴቪንግ ግሬስ ንብላ ኣለና እሳ እምበር ንሳቶም ዕላሞም ከም ትግራይ ኣብ ሂስቶሪክ ሳይት ውሰድ ቤተ ክርስቲያናት ከይዶም እንታይ መጥፊዮም መጽሓፍትታት so that ታሪክና ንድሕሪት ከንምዝገበሉ ናይ ኣብ ሃይማኖትና ዝህለና ጽንዓት ንቅድሚት እውን እናጠንከረ ከይኸይድ ዝግብር ሪሶርስስና እዮም ታ ሂስቶሪክ ቦታታትና እዮም ክድምስሱ ፈቲኑ ስለዚ ታኽንርዳእ ዘለና it wasn't just a casualty ጥራይ ኮነ 100,000 ሰብ ስለዝሞተ ወይ 1 ሚሊዮን ህዝብ ስለዝሞተና እሱ yes እቶም ዓበይቲ ዳሜጅስ እዮም but to design ግን as ከም ህዝቢ ፓሪሽ ክገብረና ዝኽእል ኣካይዳ እዩ ነይሩ ኣብ 6-8 ሚሊዮን ህዝቢ ፎከስ ገበረ እዩ ነይሩ not just to do ተወሰነ ዳሜጅ ገይሮም ክገድፉን ኣይኮነን ስለዚ እዚ ኩናት እዚ እዩ I think later on ኢሳያስ as a legal expert probably በደንብ አድረስ ገብሮ after ንገብሮ እውን ናይ advocate ናይ ታይስሙ ናይ justice and accountability እውን እዚ ኮንቴክስት በደንብ ገርካ ምርዱ ኢምፖርታንት እዩ ዝኸውን ስለዚ ተን ኢንፍራስትራክቸር አጥፊያን ክንብለን ተለና economic infrastructure ساتفيا أب social infrastructure تمت بيتنا universityاتنا إن كلن تقولون تلو دما building ترايكونن كافيسو ما يزبدا مبزحتو buildingات تروح يا متريفو تن critical زخونا resources يوم سارقهم وسيدهم ويطفئهم وان laboratories records by the way record is very very important hospital اتيخا was first things was قدمه كل ነገር record متفاي ناي حمومات record متفاي ኣብ ትምህርትታት ኣትዮም ናይ ትምህርትታት record የመጥፊያ ስለዚህ do this extent of damage intention እንታይ እዩ ነይሩ ንዝብል በደንብ ጌርና ክንረዶ የድሊ I think ንስዩ እንድሕር ግዜ ምናልባት ወዲያ ሃይከውን ይቕንየለይ up to discussions መሊሳ ክምለስ ተለይታ thank you
ይቕንየልና ኣተመስፍን ብጣዕሚ ጽቡቕ ኢኻ ገሊጽካዮ ኣሰፉ ማለት ንስልሃል ከለና ንስኸውን ኣብዚ ዲስከሽን እዚ ናይ 5 ደቂቃ ነይርኩ ኢና ኦን ትገብሪ ማይክ ተኽኢልኪ ኩሉ ነገር ብላክ እዩ ዘሎ ላይቭ ስለ ዘለና ፎቶኹም ማለት ቪድዮኹም ክትከፍትዎ ኣለኩም እና ኣሰፉ ስካብ ትኸፍቲ ኣተመስፍን ሓውና ታንክ ዩ ኣያና ያው ሓውና ኩለካ ፀገም የብልና እንታይ ይብለካ ኣለኹ ጋና ኢኻ ንስኻውን ከም ትበልካዮ ዲፕሎማት ዮሃንስ ሓቅካ ዓንተ ኮሬክሽን ፍኤን ባዕለይ እውን ንስትላይ ዋ ንስኻብካ ድሓን ኣብቲ ማዕረ ኢኻ ምሳና ናበልኩ ነይርና እቲ ዲስትራክሽን ዝበልካዮ ግን ብጣዕሚ ዝሕዝን ኣተመስፍን ሓወይ ብጣዕሚ ዝሕዝን ኣነ ባዕለይ እንዳጋጣሚስ ትግራይ በፂሐ ዚ ቀረባ ግዜ መፅአና እቲ ናይ ጨርቃ ጨርቅ ካብ መቐለ ጀሚርካ ናይ ዓድዋ ዘሎ ናይ እምነበረድ እዚ ብምሉእ ኣትየርእዮ ቪድዮታት መልዕ ለመፅአ ብጣዕሚ ኤግዛክትሊ እቲ ዝበልካዮ ብስሩስ እዚ ወዲ እዚ ኢና ክንፈልጥ ክርዳእና ዘሎ ተፀተም ጠላእቲ ሲ ሰሪቆሞ እቲ ንብረት ወሲዶሞ ጥራይ ኣይኮነን ባይዘወይታ ኣያና ኣተመስፍን ዝበለና ዘሎ እቲ ንብረት ምስ ወሰድዎ ሲ እቲ ቦታ ከም ሓድሽ ከይስርሐሉ እቲ ቢልዲናት ንባዕሉ ሲ ብድሮንን ብኣየርን እዮም ደብዲቦም እቲ ስትራክቸሩ በቃ ብምሉእ ሲ ጉሒፍካ ከም ሓድሽ ክስራሕ ዘይኮይኑ እንተሎ ዝጭቀን መንድቕ እውንስ የለን ጠቕላላ ስለዚ ኣይ ቲንክ ኣሰፉ ናይ ቴክኒካል ፀገም ኣለዋ ይመስለኒ ቢካዝ ታረኛ እያ ነይራ ሒዘ ብዚ ዲስከሽንና ኣሰፉ እንድሕር ዘይምችዋ ኮይኑ እቲ ላይቭ ስለ ዘለና TMH ይቕንየልና እቲ ላይቭ ስለ ዘመሓላልፉና ዘለው እተን ካልኦት ሚድያታት እውን ሪከርድና ንገብሮ ዘለና ክነመሓላልፈሎም ኢና ክቕፅል እዩ እዚ ኣብ ዳያስፖራ እንዳጋጣሚ ኮይኑ ናይ ቅድሚ ሕዚ SJT ካብቶም ፋውንደራት ያው ንስኻውን ባዕልካ ኣተመስፍን ነርካ ኢኻ ዳክተር ተካኒ ይሄ እንዳጋጣሚ ትራንዚሽን ኦፍ ፓወር ዝበሃል ኣሎ ዘይለመድናዮ እሞ በቲ መናእሰይ ዘለና ኣብዚዩ ናይቲ ትራንዚሽን ኦፍ ፓወር እውን ኣቶ ዶክተር ማህተመ ካብ ዶክተር ተካ ናይ SJT ኣብዚ 3 ዓመት 4 ዓመት እዚዩ እንታይ ኢና ርኢና ዶክተር ተካ ኣነ ኣገልጊለ እየ ከም ሸርመን ኮይነ ከም መራሒኹም ኮይነ ግዜ ስለ ዝኣኸለ ግን ከም ብሓድሽ እቲ ፓወር ትራንዚሽን ክኾን ኣለዎ ካሊእ ክትመርፁ ኣለኩም ኢሉ ኣኼባታት ደጋጊምና ተኻይዱ መጨረሽኡ ብመጆሪቲ ምርጫ ተኻይዱ ንዶክተር ማህተመ መሪፅና ማለት እዩ ስለዚ ዶክተር ማህተመ SJT ያው ከም ትፈልጥዎ ሴኩሪቲ እና ጀስቲስ ንተጋሩ እዩ ዝብል ናይ ተጋሩ ሓድነትን ዋሕስነትን ይከበር SJT ናብ ፖለቲካ ይኣቱ ስራሕና ናይ ኣብ SJT ስራሕ እንታይ እዩ ናይ ማንም ትግራዋይ ኣብ ዓለም ምሉእ ዘሎ ኣብ ደገነ ውሽጥን መብቱ ይከበር እያ ማዕረ ኮይኑ ይረአ ሕልፊ እንደሊ ሰባት ኣይኮናን ከም ትግራዋይ ትክድፈር ክቅተል ከሎ ግን መብቱ ይከበር በሃልቲ ኢና ስለዚ ኣብዚ ናይ ኦርጋናይዝ ምግባርና እዚ እውን ብዙሕ ተሳቲፉ ማለት ባዕሉ እዩና መርሐና ፀኒሑ ዶክተር ማህተመና ብዙሕ ግዜ ተወሰድኩ ናይ ዶክተር ማህተመ ኣብዚዩ ሓደ ናይ SJT ሕፅረ ኣቢሉ ንእሽተይ ከመይ ነና ኣበይ ኣለና ክነግረና እቲ ሓፈሻዊ ግን ዳያስፖራ እና ትግራይ ኩነታት ከመይ እንታይ እየ ፀገምና ከመይና ክንጥርነፍ ንኽእል ከመይና ክንውደብ ንኽእል ቃልሲ ንትግራይ ክንቅፅል ስለ ዘለና ኢሉ ሓደ 10 ደቂቃ ዝኸውን ወሲዱ ኣብዚዩ ሓሳብ ከቕርበልና SJT ቸርመን ዶክተር ማህተመ መድረኽ ይወለኹ ንኣሰፉ in the meantime ያው ዕድል ክንዋክል ምኩር እየ go ahead ዶክተር ማህተመ ميتي غادة لها دكتور معتمد
اوكي يعني اللي مكتغراي كلهم ون حاجرنا تراخينا مدرخ زي قداي حاجرنا كنزتو بمخالنا نا بمستاتكم بتاعمي كمسكين يفتو لما عندي زو بانل ديسكشن ويم زاته زدنا لون مهنيات أما قال ما استفدت من جينوسايد كل شيء كزنتوك سند سلازق بو دياسبورا تجراي كافتنا كارتا زنبرة قلسي هذا أكل سلازنبرة تغيرون قصاصات حزبنا بزبلته بتغطى عليه ببعمته انت فاريت مايوس تو قدم زغلص نبره تملست جينوسايد كيمص እንደገና ክርስቲያን ነገር كله يغبان زوريونا جينوسايد تግራይ كل شخص زنتو كذكر امبر ክርስቲያን ዘይግበው ጉዳይ ስለዝኾነ በምክንያት ወዳበ ድሕነትን ፍትሕነት ትግራዎት ሎም አንቲ መበል ሳልሳይ ዓመት مجمار ጽንተት ኩናት ምክንያት በመግባር ዘዳለናዩ ተዳለወዩ ስለዚ ሎም አንተ እንማሐልፎ መልእክቲ እንመላ ህዝብ ትግራይ ስለዝኾነ መብዛሕቱ ያው በእንግሊዝኛ ከም ተገልጸ ያው እቲ ያወፃ ዝርከብ መንእሰይ ወለደዩ ግን ንሕና ህዝብና ማሐልፎ ዘለና ህዝብና እውን ዲያስፖራ ምትክክል እንታይና ይሰርሕ ከም ዝነበረ ጠፊዎ ይኾነን ብዝበለፀ ግን ንምዝካር ዝኣክል እዩ لما أنت تراخمنا نبرة لنا دياسبورا تجراي أفتح زحلفوا غلط عمتات انتاي سرح نيرو لما من تحت رجاله نقص عليك انتاي كن سرحين عزبل نزرزر كداي نخرج يوتيوب برنامج يزلو so ناتي تو هذا الدل أو دياسبورا تجراي كالسامين نيرو أزولي كسر خنتاي سرح زلو يا بيساس في الغرب ناتي أفتح تسرحوا سرح تراي كان هب مالتيو سلازي كم تردوه هم نفلطو تقراينا بصلاتي توريرا تقراي سلمي تابز نورة اللوان من معينتنا كوميونيكيشن لنا يرخو خنطات تبزي نورة اللوان بتفلالي من قدي دياسبورا تقراي تلاعيلو قال صحيلو لك من في عسيلو هو سلازبالا ياو تخيد نايز انت تكونات مدن ببحلم درجة قواح تغيريو مالتيو تي زكاينا يقالسي ياو جزء محصار ياو نا غبانا حصل كوي خير زكاينا يقالسي درجات اللوي حدا انتاينا غيرنا زوليو مجمريا دياسبورا خنلتلنا نايش تخونسنا دياسبورا خنلتلنا اب دياسبورا زلوا ميداتات اب دياسبورا زلوا تفلالي تكالات እና ንሕብረተሰብ ክፍሊ ብምሉ ዘካትት ስለዝኾነ ቱ ብዲያስፖራ ስም ተገብረ ቃልሲ ብንእሽተዩ ምግላፁ ኣላ ይመስለኒ ስለዚ ኩላትና ከምንዝክሮ መጀመርያ እቲ ኩናት ተወሊዑ ሓበሬታ ምርካብ ዝጀመራናሉ ብተዘላ ዘለዋና ናይ ሚድያ ኣውትሌት እዩ ስለዚ ብቐዳምነት ክፅዋዕ ዝግብኦ ትካል እንተሃልዩ TMH እዩ ጋዜጠኛታት TMH ናይ ትግራይ ናይ ዲያስፖራን መራኸብቲ ኮይኖም ዝነበረ ኩነታት ብደንብ ዝዝምትሉ ዝመዝግብሉ ዝነበረ ስለዝኾነ ናይ እቲ ህዝቢ ዓይንን እዝንን እዮም ነይሮም ምባል ይከኣል ምስኡ ያው ድምፂ ወያነ ኢንተርናሽናል እውን ቀፂለን ጣያሻ ናይ ሚድያታት እውን ዝከኣለን እጃም ተዋፅየን እየን ምባል ይከኣል ብሱ ተታሒዙ ያው ዲያስፖራውን ብተፈላለየ ሜዳት ትግራይና በተለይ ብዘለፀ ንዲያስፖራ ክፈልጠሉ ዝኽኣለ ዘካይዱ ዝነበረ ሰላማዊ ሰልፊ እዩ ብከተማታት ይኹን ብግሎባል ደረጃ ይኹን ዘካየድናዮም ሰልፍታት ብርክት ዝበሉ ስለ ዝነበሩ እቲ ህዝቢ ትግራይ ተስፋ ንኽስንቕ ዘግበረ ሓደ ዋና ናይ ቃልስና ዓይነት እቲ ዘካየድናዮ ዲሞንስትሬሽን እዩ ማለት እዩ ቀፂሉ ያው ኩላትና ብዝከኣለና መጠን ናይ ዓለም ማሕበረሰብ ንኽፈልጦ ብዘኽእል ብፅሑፍ ይኹን ብትዊተር ይኹን ብዙም ይኹን ብተፈላለዩ ደረጃታት ብተኸታታሊ ብዘቕረብናዮ ብዝገበርና ቃልስን ብዘቕረብናዮም ፅሑፋትን ዓለም ማሕበረሰብ ንኽፈልጦ ጉዳይ ትግራይ ንኽፈልጦ ኣግቢርናዮ ኢና ማለት እዩ በዚ መሰረት እዚ ኣብቲ እዋን ንሱ ንዓለም ማሕበረሰብ ንኽፈልጠልና ንገብሮ ዝነበርና ብፅሑፍን ጭርሕታትን እዩ ስለዚ ተማና ጭርሕታትና ዝርዝሩ ኣብቲ እዋን ዝጠልቦ ዝነበረ ሓደ ኩናት ጠጠው ይበል እዩ ዕፅዋን ክባን ይለዓል እዩ ሓገዝ ንህዝብና ይቕረብ እዩ ተመዛበሉ ማነው ገበነኛታት ይተሓተቱ ዝብሉ ዋና ቁልፊ መጨርሒናን መቃለሲናን እዮም ነይሮም ካብኡ ፀኒሑ ከዓ ያው ናይ ዲያስፖራ ማነው ናይ ፕሪቶሪያ ኣግሪመንት ምስ መፀ ከዓ ውዕሊ ፕሪቶሪያ ኣብ ተግባር ይውዓል መሬትና ብንካብ ዝፀራ ሓይልታት ይለቐቕ እና ኣምሓራን ኤርትራን ካብ ቦታና ይልቀቑ ዝብል ትዋና ይጭርሐሉ ኮይኑ እንደገና ከዓ ተመዛበልትና መሰረት ናብ መረበቶም ይመለሱ ምግቢ ተኸልከለ ምግቢ ይከፈት ምዕዳል ይጀመር ብዝብል ኩነታት ኢና ነካይዶ ነርና እና በዚህ መሰረት ያው እቱ ነካይዶ ዝነበርና ቃልሲ ንመን ኢና ኣድሬስ ንገብሮ ነርና እንተልና ያው ንዓለም ማሕበረሰብ ኮይኑ ብትክክል ኩለንተን ጭርሕታት ኣድሬስ ዝግበረሎም ትካላት ወዳበታት እና መንግስታት ነይሮም እና በቀዳምነት ያው ኩልሻ ኣድሬስ ንገብሮ ንኣሜሪካ መንግስቲ እዩ ኣሜሪካ መንግስትና ኣብ ኣሜሪካ መንግስቲ ስር ዘለዋ ተፈላለያ ትካላት ንኣተን ኣድሬስ ንገብር ካብኡ ቀፂሉ ያው ፓራሌሊ ንሕቡራት መንግስታት እዩ ንኣውሮፓ ሕብረት እዩ ንባይቶ ፀጥታ ሕቡራት ሃገራት እውን እዩ ማለት እዩ እንደገና ያው ናይ ባይቶ ሰብኣዊ መሰላት ሕቡራት ሃገራት ናይ ኣፍሪካ ሕብረት እና ዩኤስኤድ ሓገዝ ብዝምልከት IMF ዓለም ለኻዊ ናይ ገንዘብ ትካል ኣብይ ኣሕመድ ገንዘብ ንኸይቡ ወርልድ ባንክ ኮኑ ከምኡ ንቃለሰሉ ዝነበርና መዳይ እዩ ማለት እዩ እቲ ቃልስና ያው ዘርዜሩ ንህዝብና ተስፋ ዝሃበ ካብ ፀልማት ክወፁ ዘግበረ እና ህዝቢ ለካ ክንዩ ዝኣክል ህዝቢ ኣለና እዩ ለካ ኣብዚ ተፅመቱና ፀኒትና ኣይንተርፍን ኢና ዝብል ተስፋ ብምስናቑ ብዘለፀ ቃልሲ ሒሉ ንክቅፅል ዘኽእል ኩነታት ተፈጢሩ እዩ ብዲያስፖራ ማለት ይከኣል ዲያስፖራ እውን ኣብቲ ዓዲ ዝነበረ ቃልሲ ተስፋ ዘለዎ ምዃኑ እንታብዚ ተጠቃሊስና ኣብቲ ዓዲ ዘሎ ቃልሲ ክሕገዝ እሞ ትግራይና ነፃ ወፅያ ናብ ዝሕሽ ቦታ ክትከይድ እያ ትኽእል እያ ዝብል ኩነታት ዝተፈጠረ ናይ ኣሉላ ኦፕሬሽን ኣብ ተግባር ውዒሉ እቲ መንግስትና ናብ ቦቱ ይመለስ እንበል ነበርና ሕቶ ተመሊሱ ካብ ድሕሪኡ እቲ ቃልሲ ተጠናኺሩ ንክቕይል ዘኽእል ኣትሞስፌር ፈጢሩ ማለት እዩ ኣብዚ እዋን እዚ ዲያስፖራ ቃልሲ ክካየድ ከሎ እቲ ዋና ናይቲ ቃልሲ ተዋናይ እቲ መንእሰይ ወለዶ እዩ በተለይ ኣብዚ ዓዲ ተወሊዶም ዝዓበዩ ወለዶም ዘምሃርዎም ወለዶም ስለ ትግራይ ዝነገርዎም መንእሰያት እዮም በተለይ ደቂ ኣንስትዮ ዝዓበየ ሮል ተፃወታሉ ኩነታት እዩ እቲ ቃልሲ ክካየድ ከሎ ዝነበረ ተስፋ ኩላትና ኩላትና ተስፋ እውን እዩ ነይሩ ስለዚ ኣብ ልዕሊ ፀላእትና ዓወት ደረኺብና ሃገረ ትግራይ ክንምስሪት ኢና ዝብል ሕራነ እንተማልኦ ስለ ዝነበረ ኩሉ ሰብ ከም ሓደ ኣካል ኮይኑ ትግራይ እዩ ዝርኢ ነይሩ ቅድሚቱ ክቃለስ ተሎ ከመይስናስ እዞም ዝፀፅቶትና ሓይልታትስ ድሕሪ እዚ እንፋረዶም እምበር ሓቢልና የምንነብር ኣይኮናን ዝብል ስምዒት እዩ ዝቃለስ ነይሩ ድሕሪ እቲ ኩነታት ከም ዝረኣናዮን ከም ዝዘፈቶን ካብ ዓቕምና ወፃኢ ብምዃኖም መጨረሻ እቲ ቃልሲ ኣንፈ ተቐይሩ ዘይሩ ክልቲኡ ሳይድ ተንበርኪኹ ማለት ይከኣል ኣብይ ኣሕመድ እውን ካብቱ ዝሓሰቦ ዓላማ ከሳኻዕ ዘይኽእል ምዃኑ ብምርዱ እንደገና ንሕና እውን ዝነበራና ናይ ሰብ ሓይልን ሪሶርሱን እናተመናመኑ ብምኽያዱ ብዘካየድናዮ ቃልሲ ኣብይ ኣሕመድ ናብ መድረክ ኣምፂናዮ ዝብል እዩ እምነት ዘለና ስለዚ ከም ዓወት ዋላ እንተወሰድናዮ ግን ዘይሩ ምስ ኣብይ ኣሕመድ ምድርዳርና ናይ ዓወት ይኹንስ ናይ ውድቀት እውን እዩ ምባል ይከኣል ምክንያቱም ስለዘየሸነፍና ኢና ናብ ኣቲና እሱ ስለዘየሸነፈ ኢና መፅኡ ናብ ድርድር ኣትዩ ግን ፕሪቶሪያ ስምምዕን ዝተመሰረተ እቲ መንእሰይ ወለዶ ወፃእ ዘሎ ከም ዝትሪእዎ ያው ናብ ኩልና ምዃን ተሳትፎ ናብ ምቕናስ ከይዱ ማለት እዩ መንእሰይ ወለዶ ጥራይ ኣይኮነን ዝሆል ሶሳይቲ ኣብ ዲያስፖራ እዚ ኣድፊቶ ሰይሉ ፀጢሉ ይሕሉ እዩ ዘሎ እምበር ርኡይ ዝኾነ ቃልሲ የካይድ ዘሎ ስለዚ እዚ ከዓ ነቶም ብተቃውሞ ሓይሊ ንክስለፉ ያው ምክንያቱም ብትክክል ብዘይ ተረዳ ግን ኣብ ርእሲ ተወሰኑ ናይ ሕብረተሰብ ክፍልና ኣመራርሓን ትኩረት ብምግባር ያው ዲያስፖራ ንእሽተይ ንክከፋፈል ዝኽእል ኣትሞስፌር ኣብ ምፍጣር ይርከብ ስለዚ ቀፂልና ንሰርሐሉ ጉዳይ ፀኒሑ እውን ዝግለፅ ዝኸውን እዩ ማለት እዩ ዝኩሉ ቃልሲ ኣካይድናስ እንታይ ኢና ውፅኢት ረኪብና ነዞም ኩሎም ትካላት ዓለም ለኻዊ ትካላትን መንግስታትን ኮይልና ዝሓለፈ ክልተ ዓመታት ያው ሳልሳይ ዓመት ናይ ፕሪቶርያ ዓመት ስለዝኾነ ዘሎ ኣለኹ ስለዚ ኣብቲ ዝሓለፉ ክልተ ናይ ኩናት ዓመታት ዝኩሉ ጨርሕና ዝኩሉ ተቃሊስናስ እንታይ እዩ ብትክክል እንታይ ኢና ባይታ ውፅኢት ረኪብና ዝብል ሕቶ ምልዓሉ ይተርፍን እና ተቃሊስና ስታይሶና ዳኹና ተሪፍና ድኔና ዝብል ተስፋ ናይ ምቁራፅ ባህሪ እውን ዝረአዩ ኣረኣያታት ስለ ዘለዉ ተቃሊስና ውፅኢት ረኪብና ኢና ዝብል እዩ ዘሎ እምነት ሓደ እቲ ህዝብና ዲያስፖራ ትግራይ ቅድም ከም ዝገለፅክዎ ዝዓበየ ትካል ዝዓበየ ናይ ሕብረተሰብ ክፍል ኣብ ወፃኢ ከም ዘለዎ ኣሚኑ ብተስፋ ንክቃለስን ክልሉ ክመርሕን ዝኽእል ኩነታት ተፈጥረሉ ኩነታት ማለት እዩ ናይ ዓለም ማሕበረሰብ ትግራይ ኣበላ እየ ኢሉ ንመጀመርያ ዝፍለጠሉ እንደገና ትግራይ ኣበላት ይኮኑስ ኣብ ትግራይ እንታይ ይፍጠረሎ ንዝብል ብዝርዝር ዲያስፖራ ትግራይ ብዘቕረቦ ሓበሬታ መሰረት ሰለስቲኦም ፀላእትና ፕላስ ዞም ወፃኢ ተደመሩ ናይ ኢትዮጵያ ናይ ኤርትራን ናይ ኣምሓራ ሓይልታትን እና ናታቶም ስፖንሰር ቀድሚ ይግለፅ ከም ዝነበረ እዚኦም ኩልኦም ኣብ ልዕሊ ህዝቢ ትግራይ ፅንተት ፈጢሮም እዮም ጀኖሳይድ ፈጢሮም እዮም ብዝብል ኣቀራርባ ብዘቕረብናዮ መሰረት ንሳቶም ናይ ፖለቲካ ኩነታቶም ስለዘይፈቀደሎም ወይ ድማ ኢንተረስቶም ስለዘየንፀባርቕ ክኸውን ትግራይ ጀኖሳይድ ተልናያስ ኢትዮጵያ እንታይ ክትከውን እያ ብዝብል ዘሊሎም እምበር ኣብ ትግራይ ጀኖሳይድ ተፈፀመ ምኳኑ ብትክክል ናይ ዓለም ማሕበረሰብ በተለይ እቶም ዋና ናይቲ ዝኾኑ ንኣሜሪካን ኣውሮፓ ሕብረትን ዝኣመነሉ ጉዳይ እዩ ነይሩ ዋላ ጀኖሳይድ ኣይበሉ ወዳ እምበር ኣብ ትግራይ ሰብኣዊ መሰል ጥሕሰት ተገይሩ እዩ ናይ ኩናት ጥሕሰት ተገይሩ እዩ ክፃረሎ ዝብል ውሳነ ወሲኖም ያው ንክልተ ዓመታት ዝኣክል ናይ ዓለም ለኻዊ ገበን መፃረዪ ኮሚቴ መዲቦም ይሰርሑ ነይሮም ማለት እዩ